Game On.
Football.
Now, you're very welcome back to Game On. We're with you all the way till 10 p.m. Pat Fennan and Keith Tracy are in studio now as we continue our build-up to France versus Ireland. So team news is in. If you missed it a little earlier, I got the reaction of Keith Tracy and indeed Maeve de Burka. So the team that we, in terms of formation that we expect to see, I suppose, is Gavin Bazunu in goal, Alan Brown right wing back, Enda Stevens left wing back, Collins, Duffy, Egan are the three centre halves, Cullen and Malumbi in midfield with Ogbene, Knight and Adam Ida. Pat Fennan, did say that's the team we expected. That's what Keith kind of went with. Would you be in agreement with that line-up and formation?
Yeah, I think that's the way we'll line up. I think the interesting one will be where Ogbene finds himself. Does he fill in down with Brown a lot, trying to give us a little bit of cover on that side of the pitch? I think the rest of it, the Cullen and Malumbi in the middle of the pitch are going to be really important from a defensive point of view. And then when we do get a chance to break out, we've got a little bit of pace with Ogbene and Ida. Jason Knight will get to the front too as well, so when that happens, but I'd imagine that will be the shape of the team. Looking at it, probably the ones that are I suppose we're looking at Duffy back in the team as well. Darragh O'Shea will probably find himself a little bit unlucky and unfortunate not to be in the team.
Are you surprised by that?
I am surprised by it, yeah. I know he's done quite well at the start of the season in Norwich, but he struggled up to that. I think Darragh O'Shea's been okay for us. That three have done well as a three as well when he's played that back three together, so a little bit surprised. Will Smallbone probably as well can have a little bit of an argument, but could he found a place in the team for Smallbone? Probably more of an attacking player, and that's maybe why he's gone for Malumbi a little bit more, to give us a bit more protection with that two in front of the back three. So the one thing we have in it, and that's why I'm delighted that Benya's in the team, gives us a little bit of legs, and he does cause teams problems when you stretch him, but we got to use it. I know Stephen wants to try to build up and play, but we're not going to let a lot of time, I think, tonight on the ball. So he's a good way out for us in the game, and hope we can utilise that.
A quick counter-attack might be our best hope at scoring, Keith, or a set piece.
Yeah, well, exactly, with Shane Duffy, and he gives you that, doesn't he? And I think I was talking to Pat outside, and you think, you've no problem with Shane Duffy playing, especially with Giroud being up there as a target man. Giroud is a fantastic player, goal scoring record is brilliant, but he is a physical presence up there. When you've got the mobility of Dembele, Griezmann and Mbappe, I think Duffy will try and early compete with Giroud, and I wouldn't rule out Shane Duffy scoring the goal from a set piece at some point, and I just hope we can restrict the French to a couple. They're so good up front. They're averaging nearly 2.5 goals a game in these Euro qualifiers, and they haven't even conceded a goal yet. So it's a really uphill battle. I think it's going to be about 30 degrees over there tonight as well. So possession is going to be at a premium. It's not really what we're good at. We don't want to keep the ball for keeping the ball safe, but when we go forward to Adam Ida, it has to be up with quality. He has to hold it up, and we have to get our players. And I think, as Pat's alluded to, that'll be Ogbene's job, getting close to Ida and trying to make things happen. Look, I know Alan Brown will be at home because he's looking after Kylian Mbappe, but he can pick and choose when to go. If we have comfortable possession, we can maybe go and double up on Theo Hernandez, but look, that's a double-edged sword, because if we do turn over possession and Alan Brown's up the pitch, Kylian Mbappe's waiting in the wings to go and hurt us. So look, it's a risky it's a risky tactic, but I feel we need to win the game. Having lost to Greece already, I feel we need at least 6 points. Well, we need 6 points from these two games. It's a long shot, but I think we need that to get ourselves back in the group. Yeah,
I know, Keith, you were mentioning driving in here, the two Johnnies were playing put them under pressure, and you're a bit more hopeful.
Yeah, well, when I come on when I got out of the car, I thought it's going to be 1-0 to Ireland, and then the longer I went without hearing the song, I'm going 4-0 to France. So it's really worn off.
Well, I don't know how much this is going to extend that scoreline when I read out the starting 11 for France. So they're going with a 4-3-3 according to the French Twitter anyway. So Mike Maignan is in goal, Koundé, Upamecano, Lucas Hernandez, Theo Hernandez are the back four from right to left. Then in midfield, Griezmann, Tchouaméni, Rabiot, and then Kylian Mbappe and Ousmane Dembele playing off Olivier Giroud. What are you expecting?
Where do I start? Just when you reel that off, it gives you shivers. I think for me, and I've said this previously, Griezmann is the one for me that makes France tick. And particularly at home, I think in that position he floats and he drifts all over the pitch. When you look at Dembele and Mbappe in the wide areas, he's got real pace and danger. Come inside, play outside as well, deliver balls into the box. They know Giroud's good in the air. The two in the middle are so strong. Rabiot, Tchouaméni are so good on the ball. They keep possession of the ball. But for me, that's where I said earlier on, I think Cullen in that position and sometimes you can get attracted out to follow Griezmann into areas where he wants to bring you to open up space. So he's got to be really disciplined in that position for us tonight, Cullen. We've seen him a couple of times get attracted to the ball at times and leave space in behind him. He can't do that tonight because they will pick us off. Listen, we're going to have to defend really, really well. We want a goalkeeper, and we know he can perform really well. So we have one of them nights. Our back three, they're going to get worked, they're going to get pulled all over the place. Wing back's so important when they have to tuck in and become a 5 and become narrow and try to keep France in front of us. That's difficult with the pace they have. They'll want to stretch us and pull us over, but we need a compact unit, right from Ida, right to the back three. We have to be compact when they give the ball away. But Keith says when we win the ball back, we got to be brave in possession as well. I think with Ogbenya gives us that little chance to get up to him, but when you're playing up to him, you have to get support to him. You can't leave him isolated, and Ida's got to play around him. So listen, it's going to be a difficult night for us. The heat out there as well is very difficult for the players. So and it's fingers crossed. We gave a really good performance against France in Dublin. It's a different animal on their home ground as well, and looking at it, they could go a long way by winning tonight to nearly secure their place already. They're probably there as it is. The one thing you don't want to do with this French team is give them a good start, get the crowd behind them, and then they get into the swagger, then you've got real problems. So for me, the first 20 minutes is so crucial that we're compact and hard to play through and build yourself into the game.
Don't concede a goal in the opening 20, Keith.
Yeah, well, the first thing that pops into my mind is how we started against Greece away. I know we had the camp in Turkey beforehand, the 10 days, and we looked like strangers out there for the first 10 minutes. We could have conceded the penalty. We did concede a goal. I think we conceded about 8 corners in the first 10 minutes. It was just backs against the wall. So if you cannot start a game of international football, you can't. And look, if we start sloppily today, we'll find ourselves, really with an uphill battle. And look, I would echo everything that Pat's saying. I think Griezmann's a fantastic footballer, but the one thing that's underrated about him is the counter press. When France lose the ball, he knows when to go and when not to go, and when he goes, they generally go and win the ball really high up the pitch. So if we are going to drop back into a low block, let France play in front of us, I think the confidence has gone out of us a little bit because of the amount of long range goals we conceded. So sometimes when you're sitting in this low block, you think no problem, let them shoot from distance. I think in the back of our, like Cullen's head, Malumbi's head, Brown head, they're thinking I need to go and get close because I'm wary of that shot. And when you do go and get close, these players are so skillful that it's just a little 1-2 and they're straight around you.
And I think in that as well, the key to that is that you don't go in once, because if you go in once you're in serious trouble, because they're that good. Once you shift and leave that gap, somebody else will fill it in. So if we're going to press the ball at any time, and we have conceded too many goals from distance, I mean look what they will shoot on side as well. But it's important when we do go to break out or go to close people down or press the ball that everybody moves together and there's no real gaps to play. And listen, that's really, it's easy saying that, but that's really when you come onto a pitch with these type of players, it's that little, even over the period of time as the game wears on, it's that little switch off, you're tired, whatever the case may be, and they've got the quality to hurt you. So like I said, a unit has got to be really, really solid when we're defending. But I still think we can't turn down sometimes going and hitting Ogbenya early and get up and join him, because he will. The one thing with him, he will chase lost causes. He did cause the problems in the last game, and he's a decent player as well. I think Keith is right. The Greece start to the game in Greece was horrendous. We were all over the place. We were on the back foot from minute one. Loads of corners, conceded goals. And
how much will that be in their mind still?
Well, we spoke about that because they'd been away for a period of time, and we thought, did they just get into routine? They have a few games under the belt now at club level as well, so you're hoping that helps. They haven't been together too long. It will be in the mind, because the one thing you'll be saying in the dressing room is don't give them a good start. The key with going away from home in these type of games is you don't give these big nations a good start, because like I said, if they scored early, they swagger, that's what they have, and they play to that, they like that, the crowd will get behind them. So it will be on the head to start the game properly. I think the good thing we spoke earlier on, set pieces are going to be vital for us. We're not going to create loads of chances with even the three, Colin, Duffy and Egan are all good in the air. It's probably a little bit of a weak link, Achilles heel, maybe for France. But they've got some big units as well. So, but delivery of set pieces is key, and can we nick a goal off one of them? It's going to be difficult for us to break down France in open play. But for me, the start of the game is massive, absolutely massive.
Okay, let's get the thoughts of Stephen Kenny, Republic of Ireland manager, was chatting with Tony Dunhill.
Stephen, we said it's going to be one of your most difficult assignments, but I get the sense from the dressing room as well that you're all really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I mean, France are who they are. They're a formidable team. They've obviously been the last 2 World Cup finals for a reason. Got a lot of quality, but we've shown in the home game against them, and against a lot of the first seeds, that we're capable of matching them, and certainly it's a big challenge. It's a huge challenge, but it's a great opportunity also, and that's the way we must view it. We must view it as a great opportunity, and so we must give everything of ourselves.
Alan Browner, will I take it to understand he'll play the right wing back position?
Yeah, he has done it. Like Alan has done it. When we played Scotland, and we said in the Aviva, go up against Andy Robertson, and big challenge for him that day, and he managed to score and win that battle on the day. And it's a bigger challenge tonight, obviously, against Kylian Mbappe, because you're operating from a lower position, and his defensive qualities would be called into action, but he has a huge heart, Alan, and he'll give everything to try and match him.
At centre half, the return of Shane Duffy, was the fact that Giroud is likely to play and he is playing for France in your thinking?
Well, I think Shane probably would have played regardless whether it was Mwani or Giroud, because I've obviously been to Norwich a bit, because we had 3 players there, and Shane has played the open 6 games of the season. Has been in very good form. He's been rejuvenated with his move to Norwich, and he's had a good absence now from the squad, and he's a very popular leader in the team.
So Shane Duffy was going to start regardless of who was going to play up top for France. Keith, is that the correct decision? I know we kind of touched on it there with Pat in terms of Shane starting ahead of Dara O'Shea.
Well, look, I think time will tell. I'm a lot happier that it's Giroud rather than Mwani. I think Mwani's very, very quick, over 10-15 yards, will run the channels all day long and won't really try and get involved with the physical battle. But I think even if you were to ask Shane Duffy out straight, who would you rather play against today? I think he would prefer Giroud, because I think he's more used to it. He's playing in the Championship. He gets that physical battle. And look, even though it's Shane Duffy, there's nothing to say that he's going to keep Olivier Giroud on the wraps all game, because he is a tough character. And look, it's just an uphill battle. You keep Mbappe quiet on one side. If you double up on him, you've got Ousmane Dembele on the other side, who's an absolute speed merchant as well. So Enda Stevens is going to have to play out of his skin to keep him quiet. And as we know, Griezmann is he's the heartbeat of this French team. So we have to really defend like we've never defended before. We're going to have to, throw bodies in the way, and you look at the Irish midfield, and I keep saying we're going to have to keep possession tonight. I love Malumbi, I love Cullen, he's getting better with every game he plays for Ireland. I love Jason Knight, I think he has a little bit about him, but in terms of playing on the half turn and being that link between our defence and our attackers, I don't quite see that with any of these yet. They're all workmanlike, they give 100%. I don't want to criticise any of them, but in terms of giving us that little bit of flair, that little bit of magic, I don't see it in our midfield.
Yeah, I think one of the issues as well with particularly Mbappe and Dembele in the wide area is that, you're looking at Brown and Stevens both playing the Championship, coming up against that quality in the home ground as well, so I'm sure they'll be up and at it. It's that support that they get in that role. It's you can't get isolated on 1v1 against either of these two, so we need that support. Whoever's playing that side of midfielder must come over, and that's where Beignet will be important to us as well, where he fills in to give him a hand on that right hand side for Brown, and on the other side you don't want Stevens isolated with Dembele neither. So it's important that our midfield players, we're talking about that unit again, you don't want them getting attracted out too early, but they must be attracted out at times to make sure we have support. The last thing we need is both of them facing up to the quality of wide player they have, because both of them are not the quickest. They will be honest and work hard and stick at it, but if they get in a 1v1 situation with both wide players for France, then we've got serious problems.
And I think it's a brilliant to play Giroud from Deschamps. I think it's brilliant, because if Ireland are going to drop back into a flat back five, which we assume they will, then if Enda Stevens doesn't want to go out and engage with Dembele, he'll just pump up in space in behind him. So it's stick or twist by the two full-backs for Ireland. It's really, really difficult, but you sort of have to play it as you see it, and this is when you understand how good defensively players are, if they understand the game, when to go, when not to go, when to leave the space. And it's really, really difficult. These are going to be split-second decisions in really, really hot weather when we don't have a lot of the ball. So it's difficult. I'm talking myself out of it again.
But even that scenario, if you're looking at it from a tactical point of view, and you're saying, okay, do we want to go and engage both wide players? Are we more happy with them delivering balls into the box? Looking at it, I'd say let them deliver balls into the box, because if you get out too early and open up spaces, they got so much quality towards you. You've got Collins in there, Duffy in there, Egan in there, all good heads of the ball. Like you say, Giroud is the one that'll go and challenge people, but again, if you end up defending so many balls and it's causing you a problem, then you have to make that decision. Okay, do we go and stop that? Once you make that decision to go and press the ball a bit higher, then the gaps open up. So it's a difficult scenario. We're going to have to defend ever so well, and the goalkeeper for me is going to have to be in really good form. And I think a lot of this as well for me, even in the game in Dublin, I think it depends on how much they fancy it. Yeah. I thought in Dublin they managed the game well. I thought they just done enough, didn't come looking to go, boom, let's get after this Ireland team and put them to bed early. If they're in that form tonight, or that thought process, might be too bad. But if they're at it with the crowd behind them and want to go and put on a show, we're going to have
that
problems.
Could be a concern if they want to come out and respond from hanging on to a victory in the Viva Stadium. Like, it is going to be very interesting. Listen, I do want to continue the conversation, I should say, but we're going to take a short break, but we'll get the thoughts of Pat Fenlon and Keith Tracy more as we build up to kick-off. You're very welcome back to Game On. We're with you live until 10 p.m. Live commentary of France and Ireland coming up shortly. Pat Fenlon and Keith Tracy are in studio building up to kick-off. 51552 is the text number if you do want to have your say or have any questions to put to the lads. There is a text in from Mouse in Escorty. I'm assuming that's a nickname. Gents, what do you think of the lack of pace in Ireland's defence? Is that worrying? Pat Fenlon, is that a concern?
Yeah, it is. I said that earlier on. The our two wing backs, Stevens and Brown, are not blessed with lightning pace, and the two wide players for France are, unfortunately, and that's what I'm saying. That double up scenario, where do you want to force them? Do you want to force them inside into where we're going to be heavy? And that's what I'm saying. The movement and the shape of the team, I don't think they'll want them going on the outside of them. I think if it's a foot race, we're in trouble. You want to send them across that midfield where it's compact and he's going into bodies. Like I said, we don't want to get 1v1. Even Collins, Duffy, Egan, none of them are really blessed with pace. Giroud's not going to really run away from any of them. It's the ones that get beyond, whether it's Mbappe or Dembele, come in and play a bit narrower to try run beyond our back three will give us a problem as well. But there is a serious lack. There's a lack of pace through the team, bar probably Ogbenye to fair was the one that gives us a little bit of legs. Absolutely. Just to I suppose emphasise on Enda Stevens' experience, I can't let this go. I saw a tweet earlier, 2 League of Ireland stalwarts sitting across me, just to illustrate how long Enda Stevens has been going. This week in 2009 he was part of a St Pat's team that beat Monaghan United 1-0 after extra time. The FA Cup, Monaghan United folded 11 years ago, so he's outstayed Monaghan United anyway. We do have another text in, double barrel question for you, Keith. Why don't we use a solid back four? Has Stephen Kenny a plan B?
Well, I don't. He seems to really like the system. I think the back five suits us. I've no problem with us playing a back five, back three centre halves, 2 wing backs, a back five as I would call it. No problem playing that against your bigger nations, against your France's, the Belgiums, the likes of those teams. When they come here, it's the other ones when we're playing the so-called lower nations and we still have a back five. I think when you're looking to soak up pressure, when you're looking to hit teams on the counter, I think it's a brilliant formation. It's when we're tasked with breaking teams down. I think the 5 at the back, there's no point having that extra centre half. I think we did that against Gibraltar, didn't we? We had the extra centre half and we were just knocking and eventually we said there's no point having them there, he's just a spare man, and we changed the formation. So Stephen does do it. It grates on me that he doesn't do it against the lower nations, but totally think it's the right formation for tonight.
Okay, gentlemen, the teams are in the tunnel. We'll be crossing live to our commentary team now in a few seconds. So, predictions, Pat Fenlon, what is going to be the score of this evening's match?
I'll settle for a 2-0 defeat. I'll be happy enough for that. Unfortunately, I just don't see anything different for us. I just think we're coming up against a top team, and I just don't want us to be on the end of a really poor result. But if we can hold it to that, I'd be happy enough. I'm never happy with getting beaten, obviously, but it's I think you got to be realistic tonight. If we get a performance from all the players, you never know. But football is control with mad results, but I don't see it tonight. Yeah, realistic prediction there. Keith, are you going with head over heart?
No, to put them under pressure song as well as truly faded out of my head. I'm going to go for 3-0 for France. It's just, I'm always hopeful. I hate writing off any Irish team because I always feel we have a fighter's chance, but when you look at the 2 sets of lineups, you'd be crazy to think that Ireland could win on paper.
Okay, Keith, Pat, we'll be getting your thoughts again at half time, but for now let us cross live to the Parc des Princes. Our commentary team is Kenny Cunningham and first John Kenny.
The Republic of Ireland come to the Lions Den. Parc de France, home of PSG, and their captain Kylian Mbappe, and the score of only the second hat-trick in World Cup final history. They certainly have been putting on a show here ahead of this game. Welcome to Paris, John Kenny and Kenny Cunningham ahead of the national anthems. Supporters away to our right hand side after Iran Levine. And now Marseillaise. Wait to hear this, folks. Kenny Cunningham's away to sing an anthem. All I keep thinking about is Eric Cantona when I hear that.
I'm going to say Eric Clapton.
Oh no, thank you. France unbeaten in 4 games, 12 points to the group, which they top. Ready our favourites to win the group and ease their way into Euro 2024. If you haven't heard the teams already, well, a little bit of a surprise. Alan Brown is starting, Darragh O'Shea isn't. Shane Duffy makes his first appearance in the campaign. What do you make to the Irish team?
Yeah, I suppose that's the only slight surprise, John, that right wing back position. We presume it'll be Alan Brown who's going to play there, Chidozie Ogbonna in front of him. Look, the safer measure would have been to play one of the centre halves, Darragh O'Shea in particular, even Nathan Collins, the kind of a natural defender in that area of the pitch against Mbappe. But I can understand that there's an element of risk to that, but there's also a benefit, John, in terms of if we can get enough possession of the ball, we can certainly get the likes of Alan Brown and Chidozie Ogbonna in the forward areas of the pitch.
We have a Swiss referee today. It's Urs Schneider. It's an all Swiss lineup in terms of their assistant and the fourth official as well. Republic of Ireland then Bazunu in goal, Collins, Egan and Stevens. Duffy, they're saying, is going to be playing a kind of a right back position along with Brown on the other side, then Cullen Malumbi in the middle, Ogbene, Ida and Knight.
We're messing with them, John. We're playing mind games.
I think somebody said Duffy's going to play in goal and whatever, but that's not the formation they're going to play.
No, clearly not. It will be interesting. Just look at the lads warm up and they get into position, John. We'll know pretty soon in terms of Alan Brown and Ogbene. Presume it's going to be a flat four in midfield. We won't play with the front two, Adam Ida and Ogbene. That would be another option as well. Play with a narrow midfield three. But I think Stephen Kenny and the staff will stick with the system. It's kind of served us quite well in Dublin, that back five and that kind of blanket forward and front for protection.
Ireland massive underdogs to win. But showed a lot of heart and spirit and courage indeed in the home game against the French, and only for Josh Cullen's mistake and a magnificent save laid on by Mygon in added time from Nathan Collins' header. Ireland would have gotten a perhaps deserved 1-1 draw, and the little Renault car comes out to the middle of the park.
The engine's overheating, John.
It is, yeah.
In
They
this temperature.
tried that at Bohemians recently with the Dublin bus kind of thing, and unfortunately it broke down. This one seems to have more French oomph about it. Va-va-voom, that's what you used to say.
Classy.
Thierry Henry. So that brings the ball out to the middle of the park. Ireland are going to kick off, playing from right to left as we're looking at it, in the white and green, strip green shorts. French, for more familiar, blue and white shorts with red socks, and they got players' names just roll off the tongue. Maignan in goal, Upamecano, Koundé, Antoine Griezmann. My word, he hasn't missed a game since June 2017. Ireland get us underway. Ida plays it short to Cullen, looks for the return ball to Ogbene out on that far side. Ireland looking for a free kick, and they've got it already. Ireland, what they're trying to do there is do an immediate press. Ida just roll the ball back shortly to Cullen, out then to Ogbene, and he gets himself a foul.
Oh, it's a great start, John. Talk about trying to get on the front foot. Josh Cullen, instead of passing the sideways or backwards, takes a step forward, goes on a mazy dribble, drills it into the feet of Ida. First time pass to Ogbene. The contact comes from Rabiot. Free kick for Ireland, exactly where we wanted to be.
And Stevens is standing over the ball. Just some of those other players we mentioned about Griezmann hasn't missed a game since June 2017. Amazing to think that that's 78 games in a row. Patrick Vieira has the record before that. It was only 45. Then he got I'll get onto the rest of the second, because Enda Stevens floats one into the area. It's headed back in again. Ireland are up in numbers. Nathan Collins tries to pick it up, but plays it down towards Griezmann. And now back to the goalkeeper, who just, well, it's not the greatest of clearance, side-footed by Mike Maignan. He's, or Maignan, the 28-year-old from Milan, earning his 9th cap tonight. He's taken over as the regular goalkeeper jersey now from Hugo Lloris. But a good press from Ireland to start things off. How's that line-up looking? Yeah, Brown is obviously playing on the right, isn't he? And Duffy's gone into that back three.
Yeah, no surprises whatsoever. Shane Duffy, the centre of that back three, that's where he wants to be. John Egan just have to fill in left of that three. And Nathan Collins, of course, very accustomed to playing right side of Shane Duffy.
Well, Ireland pressing in hard on Tchouameni, and he's forced to go back towards his goalkeeper. Ireland with his high press on Benny, trying to close the goalkeeper down, protected all yellow. The Irish goalkeeper Gavin Bazzuno away to a right hand side, the 21-year-old. He's in all blue. Giroud just tries to keep him honest, and he gets the first time clearance away, but the French pick it up in the midfield position to Tchouameni. Plays it to Mbappe, the captain. Fizzes it out this near side to Dembele. Dembele out on the right hand side, lays it in short. A chance for a shot, a goal here. It's on target from Rabiot, straight down the throat of Gavin Bazzuno, but a switch of play from Mbappe opened that up.
Yeah, it was good approach play from the French. Dembele then didn't panic on the edge of the box and received the ball from Mbappe, got his head, it just fed Rabiot on the edge of the box. Need to get a pressure out a little bit earlier. Josh Cullen a little bit too deep there for me, has to step forward a little bit more and go and engage Rabiot. Can't be giving the French midfielder pot shots from 20-25 yards out.
Rabiot shot straight down the throat of Bazzuno, but in fairness to him, he had positioned himself very well, and little fumble, but there was nobody following up, and he was able to maintain possession of the ball. Good positioning for the 21-year-old. Conceded 5 actually against Sunderland in their recent match. He's playing with Southampton these days, earning his 17th cap. Bazzuno saved Ronaldo's penalty in that 2-1 defeat in September of 2021. Here comes the French now. Mbappe inside in the penalty area, back to Giroud. The shots charged down. That was a really good block, and it needed to be too, because that was on target. Good stop from John Egan. Diverts it out for a corner.
Yeah, we got done there, John. Just ball straight over the top for Theo Hernandez, that marauding French left back. Alan Brown there just shown a little bit naivety from a defensive point of view, getting done in behind. Nathan Collins tried to get out, but the pace of Theo Hernandez was too much for him. Got past him as well. Small early concern that.
Ball's floated into the area. Oh, and it's taken off the hands of Bazzuno there by I think it was Shane Duffy. He was having a word, and at the back post Mbappe put one over the top, but that was a bad defensive mix-up, and Ireland got away with one there.
Yeah, just communication. Bazzuno, not sure if he gave an early shout. I think it was Adamida, that near post early. All he could do was flick it on, but he took it out of the hands of Bazzuno. And you're right, John, the ball bounced up for Kylian Mbappe at the back post. Wasn't the easiest of finishes. It bounced up. He had to take it high, Mbappe, but Bazunu was out of position. Just got underneath it, hoofed it over the crossbar.
Giroud's in a spot of trouble here in the penalty area. Watch some of the replays here. Didier Deschamps screaming instructions at his team. Took over here in 2012. What a long and distinguished career he's had. 11 years at the top. European champion, World Cup winners. Lost on penalties to Argentina in the previous game. Giroud's in a little bit of spot of trouble here early on in this game. We're in the 5th minute and it's 0-0.
Yeah, it was just that shot he had, John, when Theo Hernandez hit the byline and cut it back for him. He made that typical Giroud run to that near post just to take it on the inside of his left foot. I think it was Shane Duffy who got tight to him, made the tackle. Obviously left a few studs on him. He felt that on his foot, but he'll be okay. He's a tough lad.
Josh Cullen now has the ball. Giroud is off the field momentarily, so the French are down to 10 before he will trot back on again. So Mbappe has gone forward into that lone striker's role that Giroud normally has. He's actually turned away and gone back to the two physios. He has a little bit of trouble with his left foot. Anyway, we watch the play. The ball is up towards Ida now in the left quadrant. He has to keep the ball in play by backheeling it, but there was nobody behind him except one of the French players, and they'll easily get it clear through Upamecano out the far side to one of the Hernandez brothers. This is Lucas, the elder of the two, the 27-year-old. Ball at his feet, has a little look and decides to play it back towards his goalkeeper. We're in the 6th minute of the game here at Parc des Princes, and Giroud makes his way back onto the field of play, and it remains at 0-0. But Ireland will be encouraged with the start, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Even now, John, putting a reasonably high press on here, forcing Magnon to kick towards the halfway line. So good adventure from Ireland in the opening period of this game, but a couple of warning signs there the last couple of minutes. The last couple of French attacks really showing their quality down the flanks.
Rabiot with the shot which was on target, well saved. He has the ball now and plays it out that far side to the other Hernandez. That's Theo Hernandez. Back to Rabiot. There's a hair pulled back tightly in a bun at the back of his neck. Upamecano switches the play out to this right hand side where he picks up Koundé and plays it to Dembele, but momentarily lost possession to Enda Stevens. Stevens though has given it away though to Dembele, and then the French try and build again with Mbappe with the yellow armband of the captain, reputed to be earning 52 million a year, and this is his home ground. He's playing a lot of football with PSG these days, and he's enjoying his football apparently now that some of the bigger names have left.
Yeah, but Ireland will be happy to see him getting to those areas, John, coming on the inside, a little pocket, just trying to clever little flick to the back post, trying to find Giroud, I think it was, just didn't quite execute it. I think the Irish defence will be reasonably happy to see Mbappe hit those kind of crossfield passes all night. What they don't want to see him do is get his head down and start driving at people in 1v1 situations using that electric pace that he has. But you're right, John, it's been a good decent start, from Ireland. Almost a front three, Ogbonne and Jason Knight getting very close and narrowing up to Adam Ida when we haven't got possession, trying to force a few errors, a few turnovers from the French high up the pitch.
Ireland have done okay against the French away from home. A famous 1-1 draw which took place in the other stadium, Stade de France, ahead of the World Cup in South Africa, and that cheeky handball by Thierry Henry, we'll never forgive him.
I think there are a few other words for that one, John. Marvin cheeky
is right. Koundé for the French on the halfway line, rolls the ball back to Upamecano of Bayern Munich, the 24-year-old. Scored against the Dutch actually in their 4-0 victory. The Dutch are playing the Greeks tonight, and that also kicked off at 7:45. We'll keep in contact with the score in that game as soon as it comes to hand. They also started at 7:45 our time, but 8:45 local time. French have the ball in their own half of the field. Ireland all now back behind the ball, bar Adam Ida, and it's fizzed out that far side to Theo Hernandez, the 25-year-old from AC, into Mbappe. Has got the ball again. That's a nice ball outside to Hernandez. Chance to tee one up, or down the channel it goes to Mbappe. Mbappe's got two Irish players in front of him. It gets it forward towards Griezmann. Back to Mbappe it comes. They're claiming a handball there, the Irish, but they're going to let it go. Mbappe, nicely done though by Brown, just nicks it off his toe and gets it out of the danger zone.
Oh, that'll give Alan Brown a bit of confidence. Jean Mount 1v1 against Mbappe in the box. Good timing on the tackle. Disrupted the Frenchman, took the ball off and actually knocked it away. Gives the Irish defenders a little breather.
10 minutes in. It's a pleasure to be here. I did the French match at home, and it really was incredible. But here the atmosphere is amazing. One thing though about the French, and you know it down the years, Kenny, is that if they get behind or they start to play a bit inconsistent, the French team, French fans can turn against their team.
Yeah, absolutely, John. That's why we have to stay in the game, stay on their coattails, pressure them as much as we can. You know how good they are, but they're not unbeatable. We'll have to get our best tonight, we know that, but that's the challenge for these Ireland players.
It's all about the Rugby World Cup here. We were watching some TV last night. There was very little about this game. It's all about the opening match of the Rugby World Cup, and the French will be playing New Zealand. We'll be keeping an eye on that because Ireland could be playing either in the quarter-final. The ball is fizzed out of play. It's going to be an Irish throw. We just got a little replay there of Mbappe trying to just fool Alan Brown, but he wasn't fooled for a second, and as he tried to cut away from him, Brown just took it off his toe, so that'll give him a bit of confidence, as Kenny's been alluding to. Ida loses the ball, but momentarily Josh Cullen, intelligent ball out that far side now to Brown, and Ireland can attack, and they can move into the French half of the field. Ida makes a nice forward movement in the penalty area, just ran away from him momentarily as he picked it up, and he still has possession, and he's Brown behind him. The whistles come up from the French crowd because you can tell that Ireland have the ball. Gone back to the halfway line now, and all of the French are behind the ball. Ireland will be happy with the way things are going. Here's John Egan, the captain for the day, son of the Kerry legend, the former Kerry legend. Egan gets the ball back again. He's in captain now in the absence of the injured Seamus Coleman. And Enda Stevens looked that would run out of play, but he kept it in play, knocked it off Robbie out for a throw for Ireland. Good stuff. Yeah,
this is important, John. If we just keep possession of the ball, I think even early in the game, John, it's quite obvious Alan Brown's are way in down the Ireland right hand side, and Mbappe isn't tracking him back. When they lose possession, he's going centrally on Mbappe and just watching Alan Brown striding up the pitch. So there's plenty of space out there. If we can get any type of ball, any kind of switch and play out to Alan Brown, as he just did there previously, and got a cross into the box, into the feet of Alameda.
And Stevens decides not to go forward with the throw. He's gone backwards to Duffy on the halfway line. In turn plays it out the far side in towards Ida's feet. Ida remains in control, opposite way to where he should be facing really, but ball was rolled into his feet, so all he could do is knock it out to Chidozie Ogbeni on that far side. Ogbeni trying to work his way up towards the edge of the penalty area. This is not bad from Ireland at all. Oh, that was a misplaced pass by Ogbeni. Slightly fortunate there that Rabiot dived in, but Ireland got themselves a free kick in a decent position as Cullen was knocked to the ground. He actually felt a little touch and down he went.
Yeah, I agree with you there, John. I thought Ogbeni was going to take on Theo Hernandez on the outside, just use that pace, was troubled the Frenchman in the game at the Aviva, but he didn't play that backwards pass into Josh Cullen. A bit dangerous, wasn't it? Immediately was surrounded by Rabiot, could have pinched that ball off him, then we were in big trouble.
Ireland have only won 2 of the last 11 away games in Euro qualifying over the last 9 years, both of those against Gibraltar. That's not a great record. We can take a draw here, but it's a long way to go yet. We're in the 12th minute, it remains at 0-0. Ball's played out to the far side where Duffy heads it back and across the area. Ireland is still in a good position with Cullen in the central place after that free kick. Lays it back to Stevens. Stevens steps inside, plays it out to Knight and turn to Ogbeni, who switched wings. Ogbeni trying to use his speed now to get down the byline. Got a good cross in there, a little fumble there from Mike Mygon. Nearly went under his feet. Now France can attack, and you can hear the roar of the crowd as they do so with Theo Hernandez out to that far side. Hernandez keeps his run going to Mbappe. Mbappe tries to twist one way then the next. He's got Alan Brown in front of him. The ball is laid off, and the central position, a shot comes in from Chiumani, bounces away off an Irish defender. Here's Mbappe now as they just slow things down. Out to the far side they go. Griezmann is moved into a central position, as has Giroud. Giroud is just lurking on the edge of the penalty area, and he's got Duffy behind him as his shadow, but it's still Mbappe out on that left hand side by the edge of the penalty area. Out to Theo Hernandez again. Mbappe goes to ground. Oh, that's a cheap free. Brown, the referee decides to suggest that he's gone through the back of him, our Swiss referee. Mbappe just felt a touch down, he went. Cheap free.
Yeah, just need to show a little bit more discipline there. Jace Malumbi in a good position, goal side. Mbappe going nowhere, couldn't resist the temptation just to come through the back of him. Gives away cheap free kick, like you said, John. Really good position this. We know the quality of Griezmann's deliveries from these areas. They got some good options in the bench, some really good height as well. France, they can put in there. Giroud, Tchouameni, Upamecano, Rabiot. A lot of big lads there can go and attack this.
Griezmann, 32 years of age now, is 122nd international. Floats the ball into the penalty area and it bounces away off Bazunu's chest. He didn't know much about that. It's gone out to Griezmann on the far side, level the edge of the penalty area, and Bazunu was at the edge of a 6-yard box before it bounced up and hit him on the chest and away. Ireland got away with one there. It's swung across. It's gone out for a goal kick.
Oh, that's that quality delivery we're talking about again from Griezmann to that near post area. It looked like Nathan Collins was going to get his foot to it, but he didn't. He missed it. I think that's what caused Gavin Bazunu a bit of concern in the 6-yard box. Didn't know whether somebody was going to get a touch to. In the end, didn't do too bad. John actually hit off his chest. At least he made good contact with it. Fortunately, it fell to an Irish defender just outside the 6-yard box. We managed to get the ball clear, but just a little reminder there, Jason Lumby in particular, just keep your discipline around the box, stay on your feet, no needless free kicks.
Long ball from Duffy out of defence, finds Ida, finds his man. He in turn picks up Benny. Here's Ida now on the right hand side. Ida started very well, as has Benny. Knight's waiting for the ball in the middle. It's not going to come to him just yet, as the ball is in the centre of the park with George Cullen. Cullen plays it sideways to Jason Malumbi. Ireland trying to play a bit of key possession here because they're in the French half of the field. Duffy, nice triangle play here. Ireland are playing with a nice bit of confidence. Just had a look at that replay, Kenny, when that ball was coming into the area. Nobody touched it. I thought it was one of the French players that actually got a toe poke to that ball, but he was unsighted, wasn't he, Bazunu, when the ball bounced up, and fortunate to get something on it that bounced off his chest.
Yeah, it was a really awkward one to deal with, no doubt about it. I'd have to reference Ogbene a couple of minutes previously, John. 1v1 with Rabiot down this left hand side, just used that electric pace, drove into the box. It was just Rabiot just leaning on at the last minute. He couldn't quite wrap that left foot of his, put a half a decent delivery into the 6-yard box. We'd committed 3 players into the box, John. That was absolutely great to see. Jason Knight, Alameda, Ogbene were trying to get on the end of it. Just the quality delivery wasn't quite there because of the presence of Rabiot.
It's a hot night in the city. 35 degrees during the day today. It's still around 30 degrees. We're high at the top of the back stand. Here comes Ogbene. Nathan Collins has joined things, and the ball was shot from Ogbene, but he just couldn't get enough purchase on it, and Collins says, why didn't you roll it into me?
Oh, you're right, John. He's made a great run. Nathan Collins pinched the ball at the halfway line, fed Ogbene, but he continued his run, John. Just ran 30-40 yards. Nathan Collins in a straight line. If Ogbene had got his head up earlier, he could have slid Nathan Collins in behind. Possibly would have been 1v1 with Mannion inside the penalty box. Such a shame.
Ireland looks solid in that back three, and I know Dara O'Shea was probably unlucky not to get a start here, but John Egan, Duffy and Collins with Brown on one side and Stevens on the other, so far so good. 17 minutes in, remains at 0-0. Here's Theo Hernandez into Mbappe. He's got all the skill and quality, and as soon as I say that, and Ogbene does really well, knocks it off his toe. Aren't they going to get a free kick, are they? No, referee's going to let that one go. That looked like a punch in the back from Upamecano on Adam Ida, and Ida went to ground. He's given softer frees than that one. The ball is with the French on the right hand side. Dembele's ball is a long, high ball. There's too much on it, but out to Hernandez it goes. Here's Rabiot in the centre position. Has already had a shot on target. Plays it toward the back post. There's 2 Irish players there looking, and one of them just got a nick in it. I think it was Stevens, in fact, it was. It's got out from the second corner.
Yeah, that's easy defending. That's another poor cross in from Rabiot, just floating the ball to the back post. Only Dembele there. He's only about 5'7" up against John Egan and Stevens.
Short corner this time from Griezmann. Dembele knocks it into the penalty area. It's not a good one. Doesn't beat the man at the near post, but it's come back to Dembele again. The chance to launch it in this time. Collins gets the header away. Straight to Mbappe. And a shot into the back of the net. For Tchouameni. And out of nothing in the 19th minute, a 23-year-old from Real Madrid scores his 3rd international goal in his 26th international. Started every game of the World Cup, missed a penalty against Argentina, but now after that corner wasn't clear by Ireland. France take the lead. Tchouameni's goal in the 19th minute.
Oh, this is heartbreaking from an Irish perspective, John. We've acquitted ourselves so well the open 18 minutes of this game, but it's just basics again. Spoke about the shot from Rabiot early in the game, not getting enough pressure on the edge of the penalty box early enough. That's the same situation. Mbappe just inside the penalty box, lays it back to Tchouameni. Just don't get quickly enough, don't get up to the ball quickly enough to block the shot. This has been a problem for us over the last kind of 12 to 18 months. Shots from distance. I think it's Enda Stevens might be the closest defender. He's 2 or 3 yards away, John, but at this level that's not enough. Top class players can bend that ball around you, which is exactly what Hughes mainly does. It's brilliant technique. He hasn't had a good start to the game, the French midfielder. It's been a little bit errant with his passing, but an allocation was absolute precision from 25 yards out.
We thought you could keep the French quiet for a while, but it took till the 19th minute before they got their second shot on target. VAR had a look at that, no problem, that's a goal. And we just saw on the replay how Mbappe cleverly didn't even look, just rolled the ball back to Giamani and from distance bent it around Stevens. And even Mbappe had the presence of mind just to step away, just to make sure he wasn't in the way of the shot. And he also gave Giamani the option to play it back to him if he needed to. But Giamani had the confidence to score his third goal. And Ireland got themselves a free kick now as Ogbene goes to ground. This could be a yellow card. Yes, it is. Ireland won't mind that. Theo Hernandez, who said the brother, gets the first yellow card of the game. And he brought that down as a professional foul, that one definitely. Yeah,
well, this is the frailty in the French team, the French rearguard in particular. We know that from the game at the Aviva. Theo Fernandez 1v1 situations against Ogbene really struggled at the Aviva for pace. Not the greatest of defenders naturally anyway, can be very kind of petulant, can call out positionally, and Ogbene kind of fancied his chances there, didn't he, against Hernandez. Took a big touch, put it behind him, kind of cynical foul. He's put himself in a bit of bother now, the French left back.
Well, he's walking a bit of a tightrope now, so Brown's got to take this free kick just inside the French half of the field. You can hear the boos again from the French supporters because Ireland have the ball, played towards the back post where Duffy gets a good header on it, but the French clear it down towards the halfway line. Cullen heads it back. Ogbene heads it over the head of Hernandez, one of the Hernandez brothers, but the flag's going up on the far side, so it's going to be a free kick to France, which it's quickly take. Mbappe, French captain, always a buzz when he has the ball at his feet. Griezmann wasn't too happy with not getting the captaincy of Didier Deschamps. They gave it to Mbappe instead. I reckon because of the amount of games that he started, every one since June of 2017, 78 games in a row, that he's worthy of the captaincy. All he got was a vice captaincy. France have it now in the Irish half of the field. We'll try to play a ball down the line there to Koundé, did Dembele, but it didn't quite come off. Ball's back with Griezmann again on the halfway line. You're listening to 2FM. Game on, extended until 10 o'clock tonight. We're in the 22nd minute of the opening half here at a noisy Parc des Princes. Rugby World Cup starts tomorrow. For the moment, the concentration's on the football, and France lead by a goal to nil. Brilliantly taken goal from Alian Choumani, the 23-year-old, in the 19th minute, as France leading by a goal to nil. And Ireland with defending to do. Ball back into the penalty area, and Rabiot again. Doesn't get the full purchase on that ball. Ireland in a little bit of trouble there. Back to Ida, does a sensible thing, plays it out to Ogbene on that far side, but they were cut apart there, weren't they?
Yeah, just went up here there, John, didn't they? And dropped the shoulder, and Jason Malumbi drove across the pitch, hit Griezmann, who such a Mbele, took that even on the outside, left him for dead, little cut back to Rabiot, and it was Irish players throwing themselves in front of the shot. Done really well to get the block, to be honest with you, but yeah, just going through the gears now, the French.
Well, it's praising the back three. I think they look solid enough, but they conceded that goal now, and Enda Stevens was guilty of not getting out quick enough, and Brown wasn't tall enough to prevent the ball going over his head either, but Stevens turned his back on the ball as he's coming towards the goal scorer, Choumani, and that gave him all the time in the world. Bazuna had no chance, diving away to his left-hand side. The ball nestles itself beautifully in the back of the net. Mbappe goes down. Referee lets the play go on. Ball's in towards Giroud now, and a little bit of a push in the penalty area, and the French supporters saying that should be a penalty as John Egan goes in the back of Giroud.
Yeah, just got to be careful there, John. That typical Giroud run is the only French player in the penalty box. Theo Hernandez just sliding the ball into that near post area. Giroud's on his way in behind Nathan Collins. To be fair to John Egan, he can see it, he senses it, he's with the run, but he just gets ahead of him there. Giroud just kind of stumbles into the back from John, didn't he? He was a little bit clumsy, wasn't it? Don't think there was enough contact personally to warrant a penalty, but got to be so careful in those situations.
And Giroud's gone to ground again. He doesn't look too happy at all. He was claiming a penalty. He's not going to get it. He was injured earlier on.
Yeah, it's that early one, John. It's that early one where he got caught with the studs on the foot. Didn't see too much wrong with this one. There's a tussle all right there. John Egan has a little bit of a piece of him, but there's no contact on his foot on that particular occasion. This arises from the previous tackle earlier in the game.
Yeah, he just buckled his foot under when Shea went into tackle him. You can see it here on our replay. You can see that just goes there on his right foot, and that's obviously exacerbated the earlier challenge as well. So Giroud's game is done, I think. He's going to come off, and Ireland get a water break in the 25th minute. Yeah, he doesn't look too happy at all. I think his day is done.
Yeah, still not sure. Talked him up as being a big strong boy, John, about 10 minutes ago. He's going to make a Laramie now if he walks off the pitch down the tunnel.
That'll be a quick change for the French then.
Yeah, you would suspect maybe Thuram or Moani are the obvious candidates off the bench. Obviously no need to take a risk with the AC Milan centre forward.
Yeah, again we're showing the replay as the earlier stuff. He just had a shot in his leg buckled underneath him early part of the game, and then that challenge from Egan. He just takes the applause from the crowd as he goes off. Very popular player, Giroud. One qualifying goal that was against Gibraltar in the 3-0 win next to Chelsea and Arsenal. 36 years of age now, coming in the twilight of his career, the AC Milan player. He won't be adding to his 54 goals for his country, but today, landmark for him, 125 caps. He's been some player for his country, hasn't he?
Yeah, he really has. He really has. He has you could maybe highlight maybe small limitations to his game, John. Not the quickest over 10-20 yards, not maybe the most athletic in some respects in relation to the modern type centre forwards, but he's a very shrewd operator, very clever, makes great runs into the box. His timing's absolutely fantastic when he makes those near post runs in particular. That's been evident in the opening 20 minutes of the game already.
It is Thuram, as you suggested, who's coming on. Marcus Thuram of Inter Milan for his 11th cap. Hasn't scored for his country yet.
Yeah, scored for his new club team at the weekend though. John Saw got a good goal, actually could have got a hat-trick, had a number of chances. Again, not lightning speed, I wouldn't say, John, in that respect, but good physical presence.
And he has the ball immediately, lays it out this near side to the halfway line to Dembele, but the crowd were shouting at Dembele that Knight was behind him, but Dembele didn't take notice of them, and Knight, fairness to him, took the ball off his feet. Now Collins outside his own penalty area, forced to go back to Bazunu, quickly closed down by the rapid Mbappe, but he gets the ball away, and here's Ogbene. There's might be a chance for Ireland here. Ogbene gets to the edge of the penalty area. Eda's waiting for it in the middle, but he's forced to go back to Brown. Brown midway inside the French half of the field, rolls the ball back to Jason Malumbi. Malumbi keeps possession, and Ireland playing a bit of keep ball here with Brown. Ogbene's now out on that right hand side, hugging that right hand touchline. Near side here's Enda Stevens, and John Egan has the ball now, and he plays it to Stevens on that left hand side, midway inside the French half of the field. Can't go forward, goes back to Egan. Duffy in turn has to go sideways to Collins inside his own half, up to Knight. Here comes Brown on that far side. Collins then decides to whip it forward. That's a great ball from Collins to pick up Chidozie Ogbene in that quarter on that far side, just level with the edge of the penalty area. Forced to go backwards though, plays a nice little ball inside. This is really nice play from Ireland. Here's Cullen. Can they get something at the end of this and get us a bit of a product as well? Here's Stevens back to Egan, and out to Stevens again on the left hand side. Forward of him is Knight. Reverse ball in towards Stevens in the penalty area, and a little bit of a shove I think by Enda Stevens as he tried to get the ball back from Kunde, but that was nice.
Shame, yeah,
that was nice from Ireland.
You're right, John. 5 years ago I think Enda Stevens might have got on the end of that great underlap and run, just lent the ball to Jason Knight, the touchline, made that underlap and run, done exactly the right thing. Jason Knight just popped it into the space, then it was a straight race, wasn't it, with Kunde and just a younger man's legs gave him the advantage. Unfortunately now Enda Stevens going down on the edge of the penalty box as well.
A little push in the back as we can see Giroud's ankle's been strapped up. Evan Ferguson, as you probably know, ruled out of both matches against France and the Netherlands following assessment from the Irish medical team. He's gone home. Matt Doherty is suspended. He's here, but will be available for the Dutch match on Sunday. John Egan has suffered in action for Sheffield United the weekend, fit to play. France unbeaten in the last 8 matches against the Republic of Ireland. 5 wins and 3 draws since losing 3-2 in the World Cup qualifier in October 1981. I was in the stand or the terrace watching that as a young fella. That was a hell of a game.
You paid for the ticket?
I paid for the ticket. I was still in school, for God's sake. Well, no, I was just out of school. I was 20. And
Borstal school, was it?
Myself and my brother were at that game. Ireland were leading 3-1 at half time and 1-3-2 in the end. A hell of a game that was.
Yeah, great memories, I'd say.
Brilliant, yeah.
Need a few more of them, John, don't we?
We do.
Present day.
We do.
But you know what, John, I couldn't be critical generally of the team's performance. Thought they'd quit themselves very well. Even there a couple of minutes ago again, Ogbene twisting, darting in behind Theo Hernandez down that side of the pitch. He's got his brother on his inside shoulder there. He's bailed him out a couple of times. The French left side at centre half. Deschamps has got a decision to make there at half time with Theo Fernandez for me. John already on a yellow card. He's in trouble 1v1 against Ogbene every time he gets the ball.
And Stevens back on the pitch after getting a little attention. Full compliment then. Here's Rabiot though on the edge of the penalty area for France. Lays it into Griezmann. Back to the goal scorer Tchouameni. And now Theo Hernandez. Tchouameni has to go back from goal because Ireland press up on Upamecano. Out this near side it goes to Dembele. Dembele in turn to Koundé. Jules Koundé of Barcelona. 18th cap today. 2 goals I should say for his country so far. Tried a little ball down the channel there, but that was really good defending from Chidozie Ogbene. We saw Hernandez coming in from that left hand side and just motioned towards the ball and let it run out of play for a goal kick.
Yeah, Alan Brown was just drawn a little bit on the inside there, out of position for me. He's in an odd position there, Alan Brown, so huge responsibility on Chidozie Ogbene there to drop into that space, John, and as an orthodox right back and track the run with Theo Hernandez, which he did.
Goal kick. Ogbene is the target for Bazunu as he flips it over his head, but it's headed back to Hernandez. But Ireland did well to win it back with Brown out on that far side, plays it to Ogbene. Here's Malumbi, goes to ground. The referee sees nothing wrong with that challenge, and the French on the ball and they pump it forward towards Mbappe. But I don't know about that. That was Shane Duffy heading the ball out of play. I thought he could have just let the ball drop and
could have got out of the way
goalkeeper, but he headed out of play.
That's what Kylian Mbappe does to you, John, doesn't he? Makes you nervous as a defender. You know, you're in a potential 1v1 situation there, but you're right, could have just ducked under, let the ball bounce, would have gone through to Bazunu, absolutely.
Well, in fairness to Shane Duffy, it's his first appearance in this campaign, so maybe a little nervy. He's an experienced campaigner though. We're in the 32nd minute now of this game here at Parc des Princes, and it is Ireland who are trailing by a goal to nil. Tchouameni's goal, super finish in the 19th minute, is the one that separates the sides, but Ireland have acquitted themselves well. Giroud's gone off for the French as well, by the way, and Thuram is taking his place. Dembele now, the right hand side, gets his cross in. Egan is there waiting for it, does well and plays it out this near side, and that's a heavy challenge from Koundé into the back of Malumbi, and Ireland, or in fact it's Knight, and they get themselves a free kick deep inside their own half of the field.
Yeah, but I thought it was good defending from Mendes Stevens. Spoke about him earlier, taking a bit of a gamble, trying to take the ball off. Dembele in the outside of the box kind of got skinned on the outside, kind of learned his lesson on this occasion. Steadying his feet, John showed him the line, but steadying physical contact with him, just kind of made up our body contact at the last minute, prevented Dembele from getting any type of good cross into the box. It's really good defending.
Yeah, players inside would have seen that, alright. They were lined up to clear it, and that's exactly what they did. Griezmann, tiny little layoff ball, was a really nice ball to Dembele on the halfway line, and France are able to build on this. It's Theo Hernandez, the 25-year-old. He's already got a yellow card in this game. Plays it to Mbappe. The noise level in here is absolutely incredible, and the expectation as soon as Mbappe touches the ball is something else. One substitution so far, as we mentioned, Thuram on for the injured Giroud. That went off in the 26th minute. The goal, Tchouameni in 19, Hernandez booked in the 21st. That's us up to date. We're in the 34th minute. France leading by a goal to nil in this Group B game here in a sweltering hot night in Paris. World Cup starts tomorrow, the Oval Bowl. Today it's the Round Bowl, and the Netherlands have taken the lead against the Greeks. Duroon after 17 minutes. It's Netherlands 1, Greece 0 in the other game in the group. Ireland got themselves a free kick.
Oh, it's brilliant play from Jason Knight. We're penned in the edge of our penalty box, but he read the intention. Rabiot's trying to punch the ball in behind the Irish defence. He got across, read the intention, dispossessed, and then he'd really no options. Jason Knight had to do it himself. Drove at two of the French players on the outside and won the free kick off Dembele.
That's all France at the moment. This Shamani rolls on the halfway line back to Upamecano of Bayern Munich. Scored against the Dutch himself, actually. Nice little play in the centre of the park. Opens up space for Dembele. Here's Theo Hernandez on that far side. Good ball into the middle. Headed up in the air by Shane Duffy. Good to see him back. It's a good strong header too. Back to Theo Hernandez it goes though. And back to the goal scoop. Keeper Tchouameni. It's real patient build-up play by the French. Ireland are pinned on the edge of their own penalty area in towards Mbappe. Good challenge though by Brown. Takes the ball off his feet. Collins in turn rolls it back to the goalkeeper and he just pumps it upfield.
Yeah, that's the one, John, isn't it? We've done great to win it back on a couple of occasions then, but the next couple of passes, can we retain possession? Can we hit Adam Eade or find Chidozie Ogbonne to their feet, maintain possession and kind of build our way up the pitch? Just can't do that at the moment.
There's Koundé on the right hand side to Griezmann also on the right hand side. They're starting to come in field now. Here's Dembele and a shot from Mbappe is on target. No real purchase behind it. One bounce straight into the goalkeeper's chest.
Yeah, thought he could do one better than Tchouameni in a very similar position. John wasn't, he just couldn't execute it. Be disappointed with Mbappe. I've got to be honest with you, the opening kind of 25 minutes of the game, he's been very much on the periphery of the game. Anything he's tried in around the edge of the box really hasn't come off. I know you were talking up his assist, John, for the for the first goal, but I'm not having a 5-yard backwards pass as an assist. I think it's certainly more.
I think assists are silly anyway, but if you're counting assists, but
generally speaking, I've been unimpressed with him, to be honest with you. I think he's indulged himself a little bit. He's come on the inside for little pockets and trying little clever passes that haven't really come off. So certainly more to come from him.
Cody Gakpo has scored a second goal for the Netherlands. They're 2-0 up now after 31 minutes. Ireland will face the Dutch on Sunday at the Aviva. Greece are 2-0 down, and if it stays that way, we can have a look at the table. France
don't, John,
15.
don't.
France will have 15, 5 wins, and they got a corner. The Netherlands will move into second place.
Free header, he was under pressure, don't get me wrong. Nathan Collins was close enough, had his arms on him, John, wasn't he? Kind of trying to knock him off balance. It certainly wasn't a clean header, but he got enough of it. He's trying to find that far corner, just a couple of yards wide of the far post.
Yeah, it's a good challenge by Collins, just did enough. So they're going short with free kick inside the penalty areas as they want these days. Duffy has the ball at his feet now, trying to decide what he's going to do. Cullen is coming towards him. Said he plays it to Egan. A little bit of pressure here now. Duffy, just careful. Cullen, Collins, and Brown. I know it's a new way of playing, but it scares the Jesus out of me, I can tell you. Here's Ogbene, goes to ground. Referee sees nothing wrong with that. French get the ball back. Ireland have worked themselves into a nice position there. Unfortunately, Ogbene lost the ball. Rabiot, there's a nice little layoff ball attempted by Mbappe, but Hernandez was pushed on the far side. I think Theo Hernandez, referee's given the free on that far side.
Yeah, it's a shame really. Chidozie Ogbonne lost the ball high at the pitch, because we've done great, John, like you said, playing now from back 1-2 touch, got it into their half the pitch. Just needed Ogbonne to maintain possession of the football there, just check back and keep possession for the Irish players joining in. Unfortunately couldn't got dispossessed, and again we find ourselves defending in our own half of the pitch.
38 minutes on the clock, 1-0 France. Goal in the 19th minute. Ball is played forward to Thuram, lays it off to Mbappe! Flag's gone up, thankfully, and luckily Gavin Bazunu fumbled that ball over the line.
He knew, John, he knew it was offside. Come on.
He did not. We got away with one there, no doubt about it. But the ball played forward to Mbappe, he was offside.
He was offside. John Egan makes the decision. Thuram makes the run across John Egan there. Then John's got to make the decision. Does he track the run, or does he hold his position? Using all his experience there, takes one step forward, catches the French centre forward offside. Didn't really matter then. Sets up Mbappe for the finish. You're right, John. Obviously Bazunu spilled it into the goal, but didn't matter in the end.
He did get away with it, thankfully, from Ireland's point of view. It remains at 1-0, 39 minutes in. It's been good actually, Bazunu, up to that point, but it was a shot from Mbappe from an offside position, so it does not count. It's Got to make sure that doesn't rock his confidence. Here's Collins up to Chidozie Ogbeni. Tries a little layoff ball towards Alan Brown. Doesn't work. Ireland's scrapping for everything. They're not the better team by any stretch of the imagination in this game, but they're working their socks off to try and get something out of it. Mike Mygan has been virtual spectator throughout this game. One little chance, half chance, where he dropped the ball. That's good work though from Ireland to win the ball back to Jason Knight. Takes it away from Kunde, but they lose it out to Thuram, who's on as a first half substitute for the injured Giroud, and the Irish knock it out of play. It's going to be Tour de France in their own half of the field, 1-0.
Yeah, ferocious work rate again. Jason Knight and Josh Cullen there surround the French players. Kunde on that occasion kind of taking the ball off him. Real kind of bite to the Irish game tonight, out of possession. Real kind of aggression, which is good to see.
9 attempts on goal for the French, 3 on target, 1 for us. A little push in the back on Hernandez, Theo Hernandez by Collins. Felt the touch, down he went in the French half of the field. Collins just gives him a little tap on the back. He was going down whether or not. Free kick to France. Here's Theo Hernandez to Mbappe. Both of them prowling down that left hand side. Speed, and what a challenge that is from Alan Brown to win the ball back. Mbappe, as you say, on the periphery of this game, went forward there with amazing speed, but in fairness to the Preston player, Alan Brown just went down and nicked it off his toe. A brilliant challenge that was, but also out by Ogbeni.
It was a great tackle. You're right, tag team, John, wasn't it? Both doubled up, but you're right, Alan Brown was the deepest defender there, had to get that tackle exactly right, which he did. Fantastic.
He got away with a handball too. He was on the ground, he tapped it, but I think the referee might have been just a bit blindsided by Griezmann, who was standing in front of him. We're in the last 4 minutes of the opening half here at a sweltering Parc des Princes. It's warm in the penalty box, it's warmer in the, if the ball is on target from Thuram. No, it isn't. Dembele puts it into the area, and he took a bit of the heat out of that by hitting it wide.
That's really good wing play from Dembele. Playing on the right hand side for France. John, he's predominantly left foot, but he's very comfortable travelling on his outside and capable of delivering the ball off his right foot as well. Just thinks the ball over Enda Stevens' foot there. Enda Stevens thinks he's nowhere to go and puts a really good sharp delivery into the box. Thuram under pressure from Nathan Collins, can't get the header on target, but he's given more quality down the right hand side Dembele than what we've seen from Mbappe off the left, no doubt.
Winless in the last 9 against nations, beginning with any other letter since beating Armenia 2-1 in 2011. I love that stat. Ireland have a free kick though in the centre of the park and centre of the French half of the field, and this was in exactly the same position that they got from the kickoff.
Yeah, it's good to see John mixing our game up. Gavin Bazzuno getting everybody up the pitch there and fizzing a 56-yard ball right up to the chest of Alameda. Then out muscling Lucas Hernandez. Showed too tempestuous there, the French left side of centre half. Not exactly sure what he was doing there. Gave away cheap free kick, and you're right, good position now for Ireland. Work the ball into the box, commit a few players in there, which we have. Can count 5 already.
It's a free kick then, which Brown is going to take this time. It's a good one too. There's 4 or 5 white shirts lining up for that one, but eventually Theo Hernandez just hacks it anywhere to get it clear. The ball's gone back to Bazzuno. Bazzuno this time has to just play it along. Well, he didn't really have to. He just overhit it. It's gone straight down the throat of Mike Mygan. And we're into the last 2 minutes of this opening half.
Yeah, it's a shame that Gavin Bazzuno couldn't find out Benny there. He was 1v1 against Theo Hernandez. You've got to keep testing him, John. The French left back, he's in trouble. He's on that yellow card. We know he's not the greatest defender in the world. We've got to get the ball to Ogbene. He's got to be positive, take him on in 1v1 situations, draw that one more foul out of the French left back, could get him a red card, and then we certainly are back in this game.
Yes, Theo Hernandez on that far side, the one who has been booked in towards Griezmann again. Lay-off ball from Griezmann. He just does all this simple stuff well, doesn't he, Griezmann? Just lays the ball off, looks very languid and easy in control of a football. Oh, it's a lovely ball down the line as well from Dembele. Plays it straight to the arm, but Kunde couldn't get it on the end of anybody there, but eventually he finds his way to Griezmann, but Griezmann, all he could do was pop it over the top, and what a ball that was down the line.
Yeah, Dembele again, the outside of the left foot, John, wasn't it? In behind Enda Stevens, really beginning to struggle a bit, I think, in the heat as well. Enda, you can tell on his face, Kunde just striding past him there into the space. don't think it was the greatest ball into the box. Thuram had spun to the back post area. There was nobody attacking that near post, and it was a really comfortable clearance for the Irish defenders.
There'll be a bit of added time at the end of the 45 because of the injury to Giroud. And Ireland still trading by a goal to nil. And the goal in the back of the net in the 19th minute. Here's Bene being cheered on by Kenny alongside me. Plays it back to Brown. Brown on the right hand side of the penalty area to Malumbi. Back to Brown again. He's had a very good game, Brown, actually, thus far. Back to Cullen. Cullen, the outside of the boot, plays it nicely to Egan. That wasn't the greatest of balls. Back to Cullen, but it's up forward towards Ida. Ida goes to ground. 4 minutes of added time. Down below as the fourth official shows it. That was half a chance for Ida if he controlled that, but it looked like he'd been pulled back. Referee let it go. But it's at the other end now. The French go raiding with Dembele. He loses control. Got to give a lot of credit to Ireland. They haven't capitulated since the possession of the goal.
No, Jason Nice done great there again. Knew Enda Stevens was in a bit of trouble 1v1 against Dembele. Got back and literally just ripped the ball away from the French right winger. Brilliant defensive play from Jason Nice. He's got through a huge amount of work, because all the Irish players have spoke about Enda Stevens. They had anguish on his face, just physically toiling in this heat, John. Not easy for any of them.
Praising Enda Stevens there, but he tried to come forward down the left hand side of the Irish half of the field, but he ran straight into the considerable presence of Dembele, and it came off him last, so it was a free or a throw on the far side. So France have the ball now with Griezmann. Knocked it out this near side towards Koundé, the 24-year-old from Barcelona. Now to this near side to Dembele, the 26-year-old. This is his home ground, PSG, so he knows the place well. Tries to get round Stevens. Good defending from Stevens. In fairness to him, stuck to his task at the concession of the fourth corner for the French.
Oh, he done great. Just gave him a chance there. Dembele went to put it into the box, a bit of disguise, chopped it back onto his right hand side, then just delayed for a split second. That allowed Enda Stevens to recover, get over and get the block, albeit at the expense of a corner. Certainly don't concede another one now, John, do we?
He's now at Stoke City. Made his debut against the USA in 2018. 33 years of age now. Belied that age moments ago with a very good interception. Griezmann takes this corner on the right hand side. They're lining up on the back post, but they can't get anything on it, and Thuram's header comes to naught, and it's a goal kick. Ireland remains 1-0. We're in added time. Wasn't the greatest of headers, was it?
No, but again, under pressure, if you can win a clear header yourself as a defender, so the penalty box, Sean, make sure your opposition player isn't going to get a free header. That's what the Irish defenders have done. Thuram there, he's a big lad, like I said, big kind of physical presence. He's a good target for those crosses into the box, but always an Irish player in contact with him, knocking him off balance, making it difficult for him. It's been a great effort from the players, no doubt about that. First half, couldn't criticise them. It's been spot on in terms of their energy level, commitment, tenacity, out possession.
Ireland should have got a free there. This is pushing the back of Chidozie Ogbene. The referee spotted it. Like, he's standing right in front of me. He pushes him away.
Them, John,
he just didn't get it.
You know that, John. You cover sport long enough coming away from home, these kind of venues. Those 50-50 decisions go against you.
3 minutes of added time almost
up. John, you tell him.
He's not going to listen to me. France 1-0 against Ireland. Tchouameni's goal. One separates the sides in the 19th minute, and Giroud has gone off injured in the first half, and Thuram is his direct replacement. Lovely ball that is as well, across by Rabiot, and Griezmann lays it off to Theo Hernandez out that far side to Mbappe. Mbappe steps inside his man, goes to ground. Well, there you go. Referee decides he's not going to give a free to Chidozie Ogbene, and he doesn't give a free there to Mbappe, and I thought, well, I think maybe cancel that one out.
He is neutral after all.
He is.
It just proves your point.
He's given a free to Ireland, much to the discomfort and displeasure of the French crowd.
That's poor play from Mbappe again, though, for me.
He hasn't been great, has he? I mean, he did lay the ball off for the Tchouameni goal, but you'd expected a bit more of him.
He ran into a cul-de-sac there. It was a heavy touch trying to go around Alan Brown, who kind of put his arm across him, which he's entitled to do. But like I said, there was a covering Irish player coming across, so even still he was never going to get to the ball. Poor decision from Mbappe. Like to see him just hold his position a bit wider at times, John, on the touchline, receive the ball wide, let drive of players coming inside. A lot of the time he's receiving the ball on the inside on the half turn with his back to goal. Not quite so as effective.
Well, your assessment at half time then, it's 1-0 to the French. You probably have say the balance of play, they probably deserved it, but it's a good display so far from Ireland.
Absolutely. You couldn't say that goal was coming, John, when it arrived, could you? Really promised an opening 20-minute start from Ireland. Must have been heartbreaking to concede the goal, but they showed good character since then. Looked as if the French were going through the gears after that. Could be a long night for us, but we've dug in, we've come back into the game, I think, last 10 minutes of the first half, and still very much in it.
Well, the tail of the first half then, Ireland battling hard with nothing to show for it in terms of goals. Mbappe's layoff to Tchouameni. Oh, finally they put the lights on here. I can see me notes. Tchouameni with a nice finish. The 23-year-old, his third international goal in his 26th international, has given the French a 1-0 half-time lead with their striker Olivier Giroud going off injured in that first half. So half-time here at Parc des Princes. Still a lot to talk about, still a lot to play for in the second half, which is coming up shortly. At half-time, France 1, Republic of Ireland 0.
Kenny, John, thank you both very much. I'll get the thoughts of Pat Fenlon and Keith Tracy very shortly, so stick with us here in Game On 2FM.
Game On
Football. Post, but it's come back to Dembele again. The chance to launch it in this time. Collins gets the header away. Straight to Mbappe. And a shot into the back of the net. For Tchouameni. And out of nothing, in the 19th minute, a 23-year-old from Real Madrid scores his third international goal in his 26th international. Started every game in the World Cup, missed a penalty against Argentina, but now after that corner wasn't clear by Ireland. France take the lead. Tchouameni's goal.
So Aurélien Tchouameni has France 1-0 up at half-time. It's the 11th goal Ireland have conceded from outside the box since 2021. We're making a habit of it. Pat Fenlon 1-0 down at half-time. No shots on target, but in overall it was an okay performance.
I thought we started the game really well. I thought, we settled into the game. We were brave from the tip-off. We went straight off and we pressed them when they had the ball. It's probably not against the run of play, but it's a little bit harsh on us to go behind. It's a brilliant finish. I think since then France have got a little bit of mojo. They're still playing within themselves, I feel. We've got a serious problem obviously down our left hand side. Enda Stevens being isolated with Dembele, and he skipped past him 2 or 3 times. No, he hasn't got across. The concern is if he skips inside him that he's in on goal at times, so it's something we've got to be aware of and try cut that space down. Easier said than done. And Mbappe on the other side, it's been quite enough for me. Obviously Giroud going off for them is a bit of a blow, but they have toyed us a little bit. They've kept the ball. They haven't got to the levels or the tempo that would expect from them after they've scored, and they maybe for 5 or 6 minutes they did a little bit and then it's dropped off again. But like you say, no shots on goal, no real efforts. Set pieces have been poor for Ireland. We've got some decent free kicks and they've been that sort of loopy lobby ball into the box, and when we have a little bit of height to go and press it, but again we've had to work ever so hard in that heat, in that period of time. So again that may take effect going on, but would I settle for 1-0 at half time? I probably would have, yeah.
Well, we're halfway there to you settling for the 2-0 at full time. So, Keith, is there a worry then, I suppose, kind of following with what Pat said, that France can step it up and perhaps we might see that in the second half?
Yeah, the opposite side of that, I do think France are playing in moments when they scored the goal, they seem to go after us for another 10 minutes, and thankfully they didn't hit the back of the net again. But on the flip side of that, the French press has been really, really slack. They're giving us time to play, they're letting us have the ball in the middle of the pitch, and too many times I've seen Malumbi on it and he has that chance to go and fizz a ball into Eda's feet, but he's turning it down. He's thinking, I just want to keep the ball here, and you have to risk the ball every now and then, especially when we win the ball back from the French. We've only had I think just 39% of the ball, so when we win it we have to be effective with it, because we're doing an awful lot of doggy work without the ball. The one thing for me is Benny looks dangerous when he gets it. He's running at Theo Hernandez. Theo Hernandez is on a yellow card, so try and isolate him, run at him, try and get, just make it messy, run into him, run across him, try and get him on another yellow card, and then the game maybe will start to swing into our favour. But yeah, the big one is Dembele. We're all looking at Mbappe and thinking, what's he going to do? He's been largely quiet. I know he set up the goal, but it was just a little pass from the edge of the 18-yard box, and Tchouameni's goal is brilliant. I know we've highlighted how many goals we've conceded from outside the box, but you couldn't highlight Bazuna or anybody. I think it's Cullen is the nearest one to him. He's breaking his back to try and get out there, but the finish, he just passes it into the far corner with the outside of his right foot. It's a lovely, lovely finish, to be fair to him. And I know Giroud going off, but I think Thuram is a really, really good player as well. There's not a lot in them. I know Giroud is a brilliant goal scorer, but Thuram coming on doesn't really weaken the French that much. As it doesn't get any easier for us.
Yeah, your nervous laughter is it doesn't bode well with me, Pat.
No, and I'm looking and thinking Dembele, and if you're into Stephen, you say, right, take Dembele off and Kingsley Coman comes on, you think, and that's what they have. That's what I'm saying, that late in the game that can have an effect. I think Keith right. I think the couple of things from my point of view is that Knight and Cullen have turned down that pass too many times, play the ball forward, because France are not pressing us. They're not willing, they don't want to go and engage us high up the pitch for whatever reason. They maybe think we'll give the ball back to them anyway and then he can break on us. I also think of Beignet, I think now you can utilise him and just play him behind. I wouldn't even be looking for his feet. I'll be just saying, get in a race with Fernandez. He's on a yellow card, play him behind, and if he takes you, then he's going for a walk. But I think that's the way in for us down that side, and just utilise what we have. But again, just I thought Adamida started the game really well, held the ball up for us well, linked the play. They've got hold of him a little bit now. They bullied him a little bit and got around him. And the one thing I'll say about the goal, I thought we maybe should have had a free kick. I don't know, there was a foul on Adamida as well at the time where it looked like it may have been a free kick. Referee looked like he was going to give it and then change his mind, but it's a brilliant strike, as Keith said. There's nothing you can do about it. We've complained about goals from that distance, but I think this one, he's trying to get there, but it's just quality, and he just opens his foot and bends it into the far corner. Rabiot had a chance earlier on where he should have opened his left foot and bent it to the other corner, and he hit it straight at Bazuna. But like I said, 1-0 at half time you take him, but you again, be better with the ball, be better with your passes. The two wing backs, as the game's going to wear on, it's going to be difficult for them, so we need to get support from. I think our substitutions are going to be key in the second half as well. Yeah.
What do you feel those substitutions might be, Pat? Will we see any at half time?
I don't think so. I think if there's any injuries, we might see people coming on, but I don't see many major changes at half time. I think you're looking at the substitutes. Can we make a change at wing back? I think Manning may end up coming on for Enda Stevens in that position. He's had a hard time in the first half. That might be one they might look at a half time. But I would imagine Alan Brown is normally a fit boy, and you'll think he'll stick at it with Mbappe on the other side, but maybe Manning coming down that side. Midfield as well, the small bone come in. Again, Ed has had to work really hard. Do we make a change at the top end of the pitch with Will Keane maybe coming in? So there are options there for us. They're not as good as the options, unfortunately, the French have. And that's the concern, is what they're bringing on more so than what we have to bring on.
Yeah, in terms of what Stephen Kenny will be saying at half time, Keith, is kind of just keep up that work rate and hope for the best. So I'm sure he'll be saying something more tactically astute than that, but
no, I think that'll pretty much be the message. We're still in the game. I know it's 1-0 and we've been largely dominated in the game, but it's still, we are competitive. We're still in the game, and there is an avenue for us to try and get a goal here. The set pieces at the minute haven't been great, but we're winning set pieces in and around the box. We can put decent balls in there, but the one thing for me is we did start really high. We're standing on the halfway line, we're committing people to the press, and then a couple of minutes later Mbappe comes in off the left wing. He gets really central. Theo Hernandez bombs down the left wing. A ball goes over the top of Alan Brown's head, and all of a sudden we looked a little bit nervous, thinking we can't leave that space in behind anymore. So the Irish team has dropped, which means Ogbeni is getting further and further away from that French goal. So he's 70-80 yards of a run to do when he does pick up the ball. So it is getting more and more difficult, but he has the legs and he can get us up the pitch. And Adamida, to be fair to him, has done quite well. I know we're all missing Evan Ferguson. We'd all love to see him up there, but when the ball has come into him, largely he's battling well, he's keeping it, he's bringing players into play. But we're so far from the French goal, it's difficult to get any sort of strikes off or any sort of telling attacks.
That midfield, the passing that both of you mentioned, Malumbi in particular, perhaps, Keith, is it a confidence thing, or is it Stephen Kenny telling the players to be a bit conservative?
I think it's probably a little bit of both. I would imagine that Stephen is telling Jason Malumbi to play forward, Josh Cullen to play forward at every opportunity, especially in the turnovers. And when we win the ball off the French, that's when their juggler is shown. That's when we can go and hurt them. If we let them get their numbers back, then it's going to be very, very difficult. This French team haven't conceded a goal in the European qualifiers just yet, so they've a really, really strong defence. When they're disjointed, when Mbappe is up the pitch, Dembele, Griezmann, Tuchemeni, maybe Rabiot is committed to the attack, that's when we have the chance to go and hurt them. If we're going to play safe passes backwards and sideways, we're going to allow them to get back in, and we are allowing them to do it. And look, they haven't conceded a goal. They're obviously very, very well drilled, but I do feel at times the juggler is shown, but we do shy away from that forward pass.
And I think the key to that as well is we're talking about, and keep mentioning it when we were watching the game there, that Colombia a couple of times, particularly Colombia, has looked out wide and turned down the pass. And I think with France, how good Dembele and Mbappe are, they don't want to go the other way. So our wing backs are available to play the ball, but there seems to be a reluctance to play the ball out quick. Like I said, they don't want to track back, so they're dependent on Tchouameni and Rabiot getting across the field areas. But if you play the ball earlier to our wing backs, you'll get them away a little bit more. I think you just got to be a little bit braver. They're not difficult balls, they're not risky balls. We're not talking about that one where you're trying to slide down the centre halves and it gets cut out and you're in trouble. These are on a lot of the time where the wing back on your right hand side, the left hand side, the pass is there, but they've turned it down too many times and gone safe. And maybe that's just, again, the opposition's not taught in the head, if I lose it I'm in trouble. At some stage you have to, and for me they're not overly risky passes, but I think the fact that the two wide players for France don't want to go the other way, that passes on and that's our way out at times.
Well, look, we've only had 39% of the ball. Like we said, it's really, really hot over there. The easiest thing in the world to do is when you win the ball back, is to say, I'm not going to lose this, I'm not going to risk it, and you play it backwards, and then all of a sudden any sort of momentum or glimmer we had it going at the French is gone. So we need to tell Malumbi, we need to tell Cullen and Knight, when you win it, don't be afraid to play it forward. And I'm sure that is the message from Stephen Kenny. There's no point playing this open, expansive football, this sexy, attractive football, and when we win it we're going to play backwards. At the minute it's been too much sideways, too much backwards, but if we're still in the game with 20 minutes to go, I'm sure we start throwing the kitchen sink at
them. And I think as well, you know, defensively our unit's been quite good at times. We haven't seen Collins, Egan, Duffy get stretched too many times down the side. We've defended, we've got that shape in fairly quickly. I just think that it's a bit like Dublin for me, the game in Dublin, where they're playing within themselves, knowing that if they have to step it up, there's a level that they can get to that we can't live with, and you're hoping they stay in that mode. But defensively I think our shape has been alright. It's just using the ball and seeing that pass a little bit quicker at times.
A big talking point pre-match was Alan Brown at right wing back. So far so good, Keith, on the job he's done on Mbappe.
Yeah, I think he's done quite well. There was once or twice when Mbappe did actually stand Alan Brown up in the box and he's looking to manipulate the ball and get a shot off, but Alan Brown was really good, stood in, waited for the ball to come a little bit slack, and he just poked his toe in, and he's done quite well against him. And look, Mbappe will go down as having an assist, but you know, I could have made that assist. It's a 2-yard backwards pass and Tchouameni puts it in the back of the net. So yeah, Alan Brown's done really well, but the big thing for me is Benny is helping him defensively. I know Jason Knight is busting his gut, he's trying his best to get over there and help Enda Stevens, but he's just been a little bit late at times.
But they're different as well, because if you watch them, Mbappe wants to come in and play off the line, which then the fullback, sometimes Brown is going in after him, but he knows if he goes in after him that Beignet is going to chase him, the fullback down the side. On the other side, Dembele wants to stay wide and isolate 1v1 with Stevens. But the problem we're having is that Jason Knight is not getting over far enough, so he starts to skip inside. We're going to have a serious issue. So they mix it up quite well. Mbappe comes in, plays narrow. Dembele's holding it on the other side. I think in Mbappe we've dealt with him quite well. We have a serious issue with Dembele at the moment.
It's really funny because you can imagine Enda Stephen going into the dressing room saying, "Gaffer, I need help on my side," and he's going, "No, we've enough of a threat on the other side as well. We've all our boys out there." So look, the blanket's not big enough to cover everything. You know, either you leave your head sticking out or you leave your feet sticking out. It's such a difficult thing to be able to do.
Absolutely. There's no one really that can do that Jason Knight job on the left hand side, even from looking at the bench. I know, okay, you might bring on Manning for Stevens perhaps, but Will Smallbone is that attacking midfielder that will do the work, but defensively,
yeah, well look, the one wild card I'd probably throw out there is Aaron Connolly. You know, I know he hasn't played for Ireland in a long time, but he seems to have torn a corner at Hull. He scored a couple of goals. I know he's not starting every single game. He started last week, but he scored 3 goals in the championship. He is hitting the back of the net, and it seems like the off the field issues have started to get better now. So what a way to announce himself back in the Irish scene if he could come on and get us a goal that maybe got us something. So maybe Aaron Connolly has a wild card with that pace he has.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it could be an option that wide area, Aaron Connolly, absolutely.
Okay, will be interesting to see. Just to keep you updated, the Netherlands are leading Greece by 3-0 at half time, and Slovenia are 3-1 ahead at home to Northern Ireland. The second half has just kicked off, and I'm looking at James McLean coming onto the pitch for Enda Stevens, so Kenny Cunningham. And first, John Kenny, I'm sure will have more details.
Welcome back to Parc des Princes. There's been a change at half time for the Republic of Ireland. James McLean is on, wearing his 101st cap tonight, 11 goals for his country. A little change in the commentary box as well. They had to switch this around because apparently we're bleeding into television.
You're bleeding ugly, I know.
Hey, stop that. That's not fair. That's not fair.
Just anyway, tone it down a bit, John.
I just went down to
have to be so loud. Jesus.
Went down to the lower ground level to try and find a toilet. There's only one working toilet for about 900 people. It's ridiculous. Anyway, never got to. Anyway, you have to chop and change things around at half time. But there's one change then. So Enda Stevens has gone off. James McLean is on. That's the second substitute in this game because Giroud went off in the first half. He was substituted by Thuram. He went off injured. So what do you think of the decision? Stevens maybe just put in a good half and then we'll change things around maybe.
He looked down his feet a little bit, John, didn't he? Having a ferocious battle with Dembele for the entirety of that first half. And he also went down, John, if you remember, when he made an underlap and run the edge of the penalty box. So it was that small injury as well, so might be carrying a little something in that respect. So I can understand that James McLean, obviously hugely experienced, had the option of Ryan Manning there as well, but obviously his inexperience potentially went against him. So yeah, great opportunity for James.
James McLean on and off went Enda Stevens. So the Irish team is like this. Is Bazunu in goal, conceded that goal from Tumani after 19 minutes, but nothing he could do because the ball fizzed past him into the back of the net. Then we got Brown, and it was Stevens in the first half. It's now McLean on either side. In the middle we got Duffy, Egan and Nathan Collins. Midfielders are Malumbi, Knight, Chugdozi Ogbeni is just playing off the back of Adam Ida. So one change then for Ireland and one change in the first half. Giroud off for the French. A yellow card as well for Ireland early part of the second half. Josh Cullen, second man into the referee's notebook to add to Theo Hernandez in the first half. Didn't see that. What happened?
Yeah, just caught Rabiot. The French playing their way out in their own half. Very cleverly, one touch. Rabiot took a big touch away from Josh Cullen. Probably no bad thing because he was driving into space there. Rabiot could have been dangerous. Have to take a yellow card for the team there. Josh Cullen's just got to be careful.
Average first 11 for the French. Slightly older than Ireland, only 27. The team is second in the FIFA rankings. Ireland's average age is just over 25. The team is 53rd place in FIFA rankings. So it's not an old team by any stretch of the imagination, Ireland. So anyway, defending to do now as the ball is played in towards Mbappe. Mbappe tries to get from under his feet, goes to ground, claims the penalty. Well, in fact, nobody really claimed the penalty except the French crowd. And Mbappe, well, little twinkle toes inside the penalty area, but a good defending Ireland got it clear.
Not sure about twinkle toes, John. I think he should do an awful lot better there. Mbappe should get his shot off earlier.
Griezmann opens it up, plays it out this near side. The ball's in the air to Mbappe. It should be 2-0, and it is. Thuram puts it to the back of the net. Eventually, they get the second goal, and it's the substitute. Come on for Giroud in the first half. Has made it 2-0. Ireland 6th and 7th in the 48th minute. Concede the second. 2-0 France.
Yeah, we spoke about the chance for Mbappe, which for me kind of fluffed probably about 30 seconds previously, but they maintained possession of the football, John. Kept us penned in around the penalty box, walking down the left hand side. It's a cross into the box, which again arrives at the feet of Mbappe on his left foot. He miskicks it again, John. Another chance 10 yards out. Mbappe, but fortunately for him, it arrives at the feet of Thuram. It's a decent finish, to be honest. He's facing away from goal. He's got his swivel. I think, give him credit, I think he knows what he's doing, John. I think he knows he has to go high here, the French centre forward, and put it into the top of the net. There's a couple of Irish defenders between him and the goal. Gavin Bazunu screaming out towards him, and that's exactly what he does. Packley puts it into the roof of the net from about 7 yards out. It's a good finish.
There's about 4 or 5 Irish defenders on the line there, and McLean, all he could do was look up over his right shoulder, or left shoulder, to see the ball fizz past Bazunu and into the back of the net, and Duffy pulls his head back and screams. That's his first goal. Marcus Thuram. Some unusual celebration between himself and Griezmann going on there. Looked like a prancing horses, and the French support, who can get on their team if they're losing, are thrilled. They're leading by 2 goals to 0 now, and perhaps deservedly so. What a bad time to concede though in the second minute of the second half.
Yeah, massive, John. You're absolutely right. The players would have known this. Keep it tight first 10-15 minutes of the second half. We all know the cliches, but there's truth in them. Just weren't able to do it. The disappointment will be that we had plenty of players there, defenders inside the box. John, you mentioned that when Thuram has that shot, there's 4 or 5 defenders behind them. Maybe one of those defenders needed to step out and go engage him a little bit earlier, rather than worried about heading back to the goal line, maybe to clear it off the line. Having said that, it was a good finish.
Griezmann to the back post, and it's laid across by Theo Hernandez. Booked in the first half, but straight into Bazunu's arms. That's a dangerous ball. Griezmann's been playing out to Hernandez, and it produced the second goal. Griezmann's having a terrific game out there. Hasn't missed a game for his country since 2017. Incredible run. It's his 79th game in a row.
Yeah, it makes it look easy at times. Griezmann, it's not headless chicken stuff from him, John, is it? Just kind of stands still at times, just drifts into little pockets, waits for the ball to arrive, and always got his head up those antennae looking for the next pass, kind of knits the play together for the French, doesn't he, in that final third of the pitch. He's the kind of orchestrator, really, not Mbappe.
Well, we didn't really expect anything out of this game, did we? I mean, I know hope and expectation and all of that. It's a bit of a patched up side too. And the Dutch, it was said before in the other game, are leading 2-0 when last we heard. Let's get a quick score check on that for you now. Yeah, it's 3-0 in fact to the Netherlands now against Greece. That's the way to do it. 3-0 at half time. Weghorst got the third goal for them. Gakpo and De Bruyne, the goal scorers there. They might get a few more in the second half. Here's a chance for Ireland. They'll break it forward for Ida. Ida up to the edge of the penalty area. Has to check back twice. Now he's looking for a bit of support. Finds it with McLean on that far side. Dumps one into the penalty area. Headed back across goal by Igbene. And the keeper got a hand to it. And it's all over the place, the French. Here's Chidozie Ogbene again. Lays it back to Knight. Knight puts it in the penalty area. And it's headed away for a corner. Ireland's first. Oh, that was so close to being 2-1.
Our best moment of the game. Brilliant Irish football. Jason Knight, phenomenal play, driving out from his own half, feeding in Alameda. Thought he could have taken this off on his left foot, taking the shot off. Cuts on the inside, John. Looks if the chance is gone. Feeds James McLean on the left hand side. Great cross into the box. Great header from Chidozie Ogbene. Probably just couldn't generate enough pace on the header. That's a really good save from Mannion.
And here is Ogbene. Oh, couldn't keep his shot down. It was bending and dipping all the time. Left foot, and what an effort that was from the Luton Town player. And again, close to being 2-1. Good effort.
Yeah, he's had a great night, Ogbene. Great belief there again. Just driving on the inside of Griezmann, taking on the shot off his left foot. Seeing a replay of his header there again. He's trying to do exactly the right thing. Gets above Theo Hernandez. That's weak defend from him. He's going to steer it back across. Manya inside the far post, isn't he? Just can't quite get it accurate enough. Can't get enough pace on the header. Needs to really punch that inside the far corner. Wouldn't be critical of him at all. It was brilliant football from Ireland up to that point.
Yeah, you could see what he was doing there, Kenny. You'd know more than I would, but he just like he tried to cushion it, didn't he, rather than getting the neck behind it, and that gave the goalkeeper the chance to put his hand out and get it stopped.
Just going backwards, John. If he's taking a step forward towards the ball there, he finds the pace on the ball. Taking a step back there is very difficult to generate that kind of pace.
It's a decent game out there as well. If you're neutral, football's brilliant. France, so guilty of a foul on the far side on McLean, and Ireland will have a free. It's the 53rd minute. Let's recompose ourselves now after the amazing start to the second half. 1-0 at half time through Shumani's goal on 19 minutes. 48 minutes, it's Marcus Thuram who's got the second goal, his first goal for his country in his 11th international, made it 2-0, but Ireland very, very close to making it 2-1. Super save, but you'd expect him to say that. Maignan, one-handed going away, a soft cushion header which could have been in the back of the net had it been just a bit more powerfully placed by Ogbene, who's had a decent game. As soon as I say that, knocks it off his toe ahead of Hernandez, or one of the two brothers, Theo Hernandez, and it's going to be a throw to France deep inside their own half of the field.
Yeah, it was interesting. Just before Jason and I picked that ball up, John, just going to make the point about the Irish players not to become too disillusioned, too disappointed. Need to show a bit of courage, a bit of character now, and stay in the game and find something between now and the end of the game. That's exactly what we did there in spades. Just describing that build up and that almost a goal for Ireland. We need a bit more of that. Still believe to keep pushing forward, believing potentially there's still something in this game for us, and if not, just to find a goal, find a way, give those Irish supporters something to cheer about, to get behind the team.
McLean sees a French player just hurdle him there as Mbappe lays the ball back to Griezmann. Nicely done. Here's Theo Hernandez. My fancy the shot. Oh, he laid it into Mbappe, who puts his head in his hands and put his hands down towards his knee. A simple tap-in goal that should have been, but the great one couldn't finish.
Yeah, I bet he wishes he didn't get out of bed this morning. Mbappe can't do anything right at the moment. Mbappe, it's a clever little pass. Again, it's Griezmann, that link up between Griezmann and Hernandez down the left-hand side. It's a beautifully weighted pass from the French left-back across the 6-yard box. Mbappe, to be fair to him, the time the run, John's perfect, isn't it, towards that near post. Just needs to make contact. He opens his right foot up just a side foot of pass Bazuna, misses it completely.
France's unbeaten streak in qualifying for the Euros. Total 11 matches, 10 wins and 1 draw. And on the home field, the team has also not conceded during 11 meetings qualifying for the European Championships. 9 wins and 2 draws. They are pretty much unbeatable at home. Can Ireland get something out of this game? They deserve something, I think, because they really have worked so hard in this game. They're not of the same quality. And here's Mbappe in a goal. This should be 3-0. Mbappe! Oh, he's missed it. Unbelievable. The flag's gone up in the end. What he had to do is play through and put it into the back of the net. That's it. You were saying he was drifted in and out of this game. He's well offside in the end, but the play went on and he had a shot and goal and he missed it. 2-0.
Surprise would have been John if he'd have scored. The type of night he's having, just can't do anything right this evening. Mbappe just driving into the space and behind us with a tight call, probably just offside. In all honesty, it didn't matter, he put the shot wide, but yeah, player of his quality set the bar so high in terms of the standards. He's fallen well below them this evening, just can't get it right.
Ireland haven't disgraced themselves by any stretch of the imagination in this game. Other games, yeah, you would say yeah. They did well against France at home, could well have got a draw out of that game. Played well against the big sides. That seems to be the pattern over the years, doesn't it? The only wins they've had in European qualifying the last couple of years has been 2 matches against Gibraltar. Back with Maigan inside his own goal, pressed down by Ida and Chidozie Ogbene. Rabiot helps out, pressed down by Jason Malumbi of West Brom. 21st cap tonight for Malumbi, still pressing Rabiot down and deep in his own half of the field. And Ireland did well to actually win the ball back, and here is Malumbi, did very well, plays it inside to Alan Brown, into Cullen. Cullen tries to play a little reverse ball into his captain, who's joining the attack, John Egan. Ireland might as well press forward, try and get something out of this game now. Ball's lofted into the penalty area towards the back post, and drifting in on that back post has actually gone out for a corner. It nicked off the Frenchman last, and it's gone out for a corner. Jason Knight was lurking there, and referee decides it's the second corner of the night to Ireland.
Yeah, it's really good play again from Ireland down this right hand side. Penned the French in, kept their discipline, won it back off, and eventually ends up with a good cross. Ogbeni to the back post, and exactly where you want Jason Knight, trying to attack the shoulder Kunde, who can seize the corner kick.
Now this is where Ireland can profit. Good delivery from McLean though is required. Duffy's up in the area, big strong presence. Here comes,
That happens, he's a bit unlucky there, Nathan Collins.
just having a look at the goal again. Thuram did well actually to turn and then place it high into the net, out of the reach of the goalkeeper to make it 2-0. But Ireland have had that chance with Ogbene. Collins just a little bit over exuberant there. In fact, for his troubles, he got a kick in the unmentionables. Everybody laughs at that, but it's sore. It is very sore, but he's back on his feet, and it remains 2-0 to the French in the 59th minute here in Parc des Princes, a sweltering Parc des Princes in the middle of September. Really is hot nights in the city, summer in the city. We're getting good weather at home, not quite as warm as it is here though. It's been baking hot the last couple of days. You enjoyed the heat too?
I think you know the answer to that question, John.
Well, yeah,
Pull the curtains in the hotel room for the past 2 days like a vampire.
we're lucky enough we have a little bit of a pool upstairs. It's not really much of a pool, it's like a big bath, but it's nice and refreshing when you can jump into it.
But I heard you got in there, John, that was it. I wasn't heading up there after that.
Big displacement of water. 59 minutes, 2-0 France. Overlapping is Theo Hernandez on that left hand side. Checks his run, plays it in towards Mbappe. Mbappe has a little look up, thought he was going to fire in a shot there. Instead he lays it short. Here's Rabiot now on the left hand side of the Irish defence. To Theo Hernandez again. There's a wall of white shirts in front of him. He does a sensible thing and plays it back to Shumani, the opening goal scorer. Out the far side to Kunde of Barcelona. Onto the far side it goes. Raiding forward is Thuram, the substitute. Into Giroud, or not Giroud, into Griezmann I should say. Giroud's gone off. Ball's into the penalty area, headed away by Ireland only momentarily because it's going to come back in again. You just think France are getting very much on top now, and the Ireland starting to wilt perhaps in the heat.
Yeah, and everything's coming through Griezmann, John, isn't it? Just drifting into those central pockets, receiving the ball off the wide man like he is now. One touch, bringing other players into play. Lovely to watch.
Mbappe tries to try it down the tunnel. It doesn't work. Gets it again. Little layoff ball to Rabiot. Rabiot had a shot in the first half which was saved by Zunu. Ball off the outside of the boot into the area by Chumani, headed clear by Duffy down towards the halfway line, but there's nobody to pick it up for Ireland. Hour gone, half an hour to go. France 2, Republic of Ireland 0. It's 3-0 to Netherlands in the other match against Greece. France would have 15 if it stays this way from 15 points from 5 games played. Goal difference of plus 11. They're well on the way to topping the group. Netherlands, it's only their third game, and they will have 6 points should it stay this way. Greece will fall to 6 after 4. Ireland will have 4 games and play 3, and they play the Dutch. Huge game for them on this coming Sunday at the Aviva, and it's also live here on RTE2 FM. Jason Knight nicks the ball away from Mbappe, but Mbappe does well to take it away from McLean, who didn't see him coming. He never got the call, perhaps. It's 1-0, 2-0 to France as the ball's laid off to Shumani. Shumani on the left-hand side out to Theo Hernandez. Hernandez faced by Brown. Brown's had a good game against the likes of Mbappe. And we're missing, Doherty, of course, and Coleman down that right-hand side for Ireland. They've been sorely missed to take an eye or keep an eye on Mbappe, but Mbappe has been just the fire of his own downfall in this game so far. He hasn't had a great game.
I think Alan's done really well, considering he's playing out of position there, not a natural defender. I think he's been very pleased with his performance so far.
France is turning the screw. Theo Hernandez gets a lovely ball from Griezmann, works his way to the edge of the penalty area. Mbappe into the penalty area goes. Down goes Theo Hernandez under the challenge of Nathan Collins, who picks up Hernandez, slaps him on the backside and says, get on with the play. No penalty, says our Swiss referee.
Yeah, wouldn't have mattered really. Nathan Collins putting his forearm across his chest there, preventing him make that run in behind. But like I said, the return pass from Mbappe was really poor, very overhit. I think there's going to be some talk of a penalty check there, but not for me. I think that's over. It's not going to be given. You wanted really Griezmann in that situation. When Hernandez came on the inside there, John, and lent it on the inside of that, being Griezmann popping that ball back first time off his left foot. You can rest assured it would have been spot on. But Mbappe having the night he's having, obviously it was overhit.
Again, they're working their way out from the back. To McLean on that far side, who just kind of heads it forward. It doesn't look very comfortable, actually, McLean, under this new way of playing. I think he just likes the ball in front of him. When the ball's played out to him, it can be difficult for him, I think. And he gives the ball away, and the France are in the penalty area now. And then Thuram working forward, coming in from that right-hand side, but the flag has gone up. I think McLean looks a little uncomfortable when the ball comes to him in that little ticky-tacky to get the ball out of the penalty area.
I'd be uncomfortable, John, receiving the ball on the edge of my penalty box with French players in and around me. It's not easy. You've got to show a lot of bravery, a lot of quality in possession to play in those areas.
It's key, isn't it, possession? That's the one thing about it. You've got to keep possession. And McLean just looks very nervous when the ball comes towards him. Ida is beaten to the punch by Lucas Hernandez, who's really well, and just a drag back ball to keep the ball in play. The PSG man, 27-year-old, the older of the two brothers, earning his 34th cap tonight. There's only 2 goals between these boys, Theo and Lucas, in 52 internationals between them now. Theo's got 2. He hasn't scored yet for his country.
Yeah, chalk and cheese in terms of their playing styles. John Hernandez must get forward. He's very productive in the last third of the pitch, but very kind of flying in terms of defending most of the time. Like I said, he's got his elder brother on his inside shoulder. He's exactly the opposite. Rock solid defender, reads the game well, good athlete, keeps it nice and simple in possession.
Not many international teams have brothers playing side by side. Never mind forward strikers, whatever, like the Charlton brothers maybe. The ball in the Irish penalty area and just scooped out of play without in fact it's kept in play on that far side by Malumbi. And France have it back again, level with the edge of the penalty area. Thuram lays it inside to Mbappe. Cries of shoot all around the ground. I'd like to see another goal or two of the French team, the French crowd as well. 45,000 in tonight. Some nearly 2,000 Irish supporters here as well. They're just a little pocket away to our right hand side. Lots of singing, lots of dancing in that quarter as they try and defend or try and get something out of this game. They're trailing by 2 goals to 0, and they're starting to wilt now. The heat is certainly getting to them. 65 minutes in, and France is starting to toy with Ireland.
Yeah, but there's still some really good defending from Ireland. A low defensive block. We've been pushed back to the edge of our box, but James McLean done great there 1v1 against Dembele coming on the inside, looking to put in the top corner. He got a great block. It's just very hard. Immediately they pounce on you, France, and win back possession. Upamecano stepping in front of Almeida, taking the ball off him, and again Jeremy penned in within 30-35 yards your own goal again. It's tough.
Rabiot. You can hear the French crowd behind us waving their flags in celebration. They are a tough crowd. If you go behind and you're a French player, you'll know all about it. In any form of sport that they play here, the crowd can certainly get on your back. Here's Lucas Hernandez.
I was going to say, if any French player had the type of game Mbappe had tonight, you'd be screaming for it to be taken off the pitch. He's been that bad. It's just even there, John, a pass back to the centre half. Simple pass, he overhit it. Can do absolutely nothing right at the moment, Kylian Mbappe.
Ireland going to make a double substitution, of which Moran on, because they're defending to do now. Here's Theo Hernandez into Chiumani with the shot. Good save by the goalkeeper, diving away to his left hand side, got two good hands to it, Bazunu, and played it out to McLean, who did well actually to skip away from his man. Wasn't the best of balls inside to Cullen, but he made something of it. And Ireland unfortunately have given it away, but it's going to bounce out kindly for Ireland for a goal kick. Good effort by Chiumani, good save by Bazunu.
Oh, it was. The difference between this strike and his one first half, John, probably another 5-10 yards further out, and actually took this through his laces this time. It was more like an arrow, so it was an easier save for Gavin Bazunu on this occasion. Just punched it away from the post, as you should do. Make sure nobody gets themselves a tap in on the rebound. And you're right, those substitutions are certainly happening.
Columbia's coming off anyway. Two subs coming on, Dara O'Shea and Will Keane. So a defender and an attacker. Jason Malumbi is one of them coming off. You can hear the Irish supporters, say about 2,000 of them, away the far side singing Low Lie, the fields of Athenry. They're not giving up. And they're bringing off Ida as well. So Keane coming on for Ida, and it's going to be Jason Mulvey coming off, and Dara O'Shea is coming off, and they're going to take a little water break here as well. So in the 67th minute, 2-0 to France. Kenny Cunningham, what's the summation so far?
Yeah, look, obviously we're disappointed to be 2-0 down. Sometimes you have to salute the quality of the opposition. We've seen that in patches from the French tonight. Don't think it's been a convincing performance from them from start to finish, John, but certainly in periods in the game they have showed their quality, moved the game, moved the ball quickly, 1-2 touch. Griezmann has been at the focal point. Everything good that they've done hasn't been all perfect individually. And Mbappe, we've spoken about, has had a poor night. Dembele for me on the right hand side has really taken the eye. He's been really sharp for the majority of the game. And to be fair to the French, they haven't let up, John, even after that second goal. You know, they've gone looking for the third goal, and they've kept pushing. I think we've defended our box reasonably well since then, and created one great chance. If we could have taken that chance, John, that created Ogbene at that particular time, and got it back to 2-1. Well, what a finish we'd be in for.
Full credit to the Irish supporters. Sorry.
Yeah, no, John, you're right. Yeah, Irish supporters haven't had a huge amount of ball obviously in the French half. There's been that one clear cut chance. That's always going to be the case, John. You're going to be feeding on scraps here. We know that against a team of this quality. I'm just hoping the remaining period of the game now we take a deep breath in and we go again for the remaining period of this game and try and find that goal.
So those substitutions, James McLean at half time on for Enda Stevens, and now with 2-0 on the clock to the French in the 68th minute, it's Dara O'Shea who's come on. Malumbi's gone off. Dara O'Shea of Burnley earns his 20th international cap, yet to score for Ireland, the 24-year-old. Perhaps unlucky not to get a start in this game. And Will Keane of Preston, the 30-year-old, only his 5th international, gone up front in place of Ida, who ran his socks off. Difficult thing to do, isn't it, of course, Kelly, to be in this kind of heat as well, the lone striker. It's a thankless task.
Yeah, it certainly is. Looks like Dara O'Shea will go into that right, almost a right wing back position. We thought, some people thought he might have actually started there this afternoon. And you're right, Will Keane obviously just high up the pitch, and Alan Brownell just slide into that central midfield slot, John, alongside Josh Cullen, probably an area of the pitch where he's more familiar, more comfortable.
France look very comfortable now as we approach 20 minutes to go. 2-0, they lead, and the top two in the group are leading as well. 3-0 to Netherlands against Greece is the other match, which also kicked off at 7:45. Ireland will stay on 3 points from 4 games. You would think that any chance of us qualifying is well and truly over, but get a result or get a win against the Netherlands, and you never know. You just never know. France look like they're going to go on and win this group quite handily, because they've already stuffed the Dutch by 4-0, and they're the best side in Europe by any stretch of the imagination. And they're also a team that, remember, lost the World Cup final, but only on penalties after the great one. Mbappe scored a hat-trick. That's a strong challenge in the centre of the park on Alan Brown. Brown did really well, actually. It was a nice bit of skill, wasn't it? Just to tap the ball in the air and just knock it beyond Griezmann.
Oh, through the legs of Griezmann.
Yeah,
tell the grandkids about that one, John, one day. In the Parc des Princes.
Marcus Thuram is the man who committed the foul, the sub. He's officially number 15 on our programme, but he's been down as number 11 as well. So 15 is the official number for Thuram, and we know that because he scored the second goal. Griezmann, it's a lovely bit of play by Griezmann, and now Mbappe on the edge of the penalty area with the outside of the boot in towards Thuram, who comes steaming forward. The ball still hasn't gone out of play. It's out on that far side, and a bit of defending to do. McLean does it well. It's gone out for a goal kick on that far side. Yeah,
well, I'm not going to repeat myself about Mbappe again. In a great position here. Just got to feed the ball into the space for Thuram to walk on and put it into the net. Overcooks it again. Mbappe at the outside of his right foot. Doesn't give his teammate a chance for the comfortable finish.
72 minutes. Mbappe lays it off to Rabiot and turn to Griezmann. Spots Dembele out on the far side. Dembele is in the Irish penalty area. Tries to go around McLean. He's done that, and he smacks it off the post. McLean got completely foxed there. He went to his left, the ball went to his right, and it thundered off the crossbar, nearly 3-0.
Oh, this is the position nobody wants to be in. James McLean 1v1. The cover's not coming quickly enough. Jason Knight, he's even feeling the pace now, and that's saying something with his engine. He can't get across and double up and give James McLean a dig out. He's isolated. Just shows him, tries to show Dembele on the inside. He chops it back onto his right foot, goes past him, and then just smashes it. Tries to smash it inside that near post, doesn't John, into the roof of the net. Almost executes it. Hits the outside of the post, comes back.
Double substitution for the French now. Dembele's last act is to smack that ball off the post. He's coming off, as is Lucas Hernandez, the centre half. Kingsley Coleman and Boubacar. No, it's not Boubacar Kamara, my apologies. It's William Saliba who's coming on wearing 17. So Saliba 17, Kingsley Coleman 20. That's their two substitutions coming on in the 73rd minute with France leading 2-0.
Yeah, James McLean will be feeling a bit nauseous now, John. Dembele going off and Kingsley Coleman is probably even quicker coming on.
Chance again for 3-0, and it's been knocked away by Cullen as Griezmann was lurking on the edge of the penalty area.
That's a goal saving tackle, this, John. Ball somehow stays alive inside the box. Thuram puts it straight in front of Griezmann. Looks like he's going to side foot that ball into the goal. Don't know whether it's Collins or Cullen, a culmination of them both. Managed to get the block put out behind for a corner.
Yeah, I think it was Cullen who actually slid in with the challenge, which just put him off enough, and Collins behind and knocked it out of play. It's their fifth corner. First one in the second half, taken short. Griezmann gets the ball back again, lays it short to Koundé out to the far side. Here's Coleman, the substitute, gets around Cullen, gets the ball into the penalty area, but nice take in the end from Gavin Mizuno, just lifts the pressure. Ireland though have the ball in their own half of the field under a bit of pressure here, and it's been knocked out of play, I think, by the Irishman substitute Dara O'Shea. It has been. There's going to be a throw for the French. Needless giving away the ball there really by the substitute only on the field, Dara O'Shea. O'Shea's gone into that right wing back position. McLean is on the far side, and still the mid three of Collins, Shane Duffy and the captain John Egan. 74 minutes in Paris. France 2, Republic of Ireland 0. 2 goals in either half separates the sides. Ireland could have got one back with a nice header from Chidozie Ogbeni, but a very good save from Mike Mygan diving away to his right has kept it at 2-0. 2-1 with this game, very interesting. Mbappe battling there in the centre of the park with the Irish number 8 Alan Brown, and Brown just pulled him back. Referee let it go. Ball runs away from Mbappe. Yeah, you can see he just hasn't the best of nights. Mbappe, the ball on that occasion straight to him, should have taken it in nicely but didn't. Chidozie Ogbeni goes to ground. You can hear the yelp from him as Umpicano came in behind him. Are going to free on the halfway line, but from a neutral point of view, watching Mbappe, not his best night.
No, he's got to be careful as well, John. He got blocked off there by Alan Brown just a minute previously, and he almost kicked out at the Irish midfielder. Could have found himself red card and heading down the tunnel there. Just a sign of his frustration in terms of how he hasn't been able to impact the game at all this evening. Hasn't started for his club this season, John, the opening couple of games, so maybe lacking a little bit of match sharpness, but even still, no excuse. Such a below par performance from the French superstar.
So it's a free kick to Ireland just inside the French half of the field. Brown takes it, flat one towards the back post, now rising, headed backwards by Duffy and not forward as he was trying to do, and the French should clear it quite easily and do so with Kingsley Coleman, but they've given it away. Ball is in towards Keane, but there's two Frenchmen in the way, and here comes my man of the match, Griezmann, lays it off to Theo Hernandez. The brother's gone off, so Hernandez himself can come galloping forward now into Thuram. Little layoff ball to Coleman. It's a poor ball inside to Koundé. Koundé gave it away, gave it straight down the throat of McLean. Plays it to Cullen. 76 minutes in Paris. 2-0 to France. 3-0 still to the Netherlands. In fact, I'll double check that game now and see if there's any further goals in it, but you can tell really, because it's 3-0 at half time, the Dutch are going to easily win that game, one would think, against the Greeks, who beat us 1-0. And one of the Irish players has gone down, and Will Kane is only on the pitch a matter of minutes, and he went down under his own steam.
Yeah, that doesn't look good. There was an incident there at the edge of the penalty box, maybe a little bit of a sprint over 5-10 yards, and so was the worry coming off the bench. Your muscles maybe aren't quite warmed up.
He's only on the pitch a few minutes, so he hasn't warmed up properly. It was 67 minutes he came on. Yeah, he's only on the pitch for 8 minutes, and Keane is on the ground. So that's not good. Giroud did something similar, didn't he? He went down under his own steam and had to be taken off. But Keane is trying to explain just exactly what happened to him. We're just looking at the replay here. It didn't seem to be anything untoward. No. He's coming off already. That's a quick on and off, isn't it? It's just 8 minutes. And bye-bye Will Keane, ignominious end. So Ireland will have to do another substitution. I think it's going to be Aaron Connolly. Would be the direct replacement, isn't it? Yeah, it is. It's going to be Connolly wearing 15. It's an enforced substitution. Poor old Will Keane waits an awful long time. He's 30 years of age. It's only his 5th international, and he's only on the pitch a matter of minutes, and he comes off. That's a shame.
Just wonder if he maybe hyperextended his knee, John. We saw a replay, that cross from Alan Brown into the box when he went up and headed the ball, but when he came down, he was kind of very straight-legged when his foot hit the ground. In those situations, you can just flex your knee, open your knee joint a little bit. Might have been the issue, but yeah, really sorry from there. Would have been excited the prospect of getting on the pitch and making an impact in the last kind of 20 minutes of the game. Not to be.
The French crowd are getting bored now as they're doing the Mexican wave. Ireland trying to get something out of this game. Brought on Aaron Connolly now. He's playing with his club football with Hull City. 23 years of age, man from Galway, in his 9th international now. In for the look of Keane. Looked very distraught coming off Keane. He's 30 years of age. Went an awful long time to make his debut for Ireland. 5th international. Came on in place of Ida, and now he's gone off. We're in the 79th minute of this game in Paris, and you can tell by the way the French are doing the Mexican wave around the ground that they think this game is well and truly over. Here's Griezmann outside of the foot. It's not a great ball to Collins. Collins plays a nice ball down the line towards Ogbene, but it's nicked off his toe by Umpicano. And here's Griezmann. Griezmann plays the ball forward towards Thuram. Nicely positioned himself though, John Egan, to get a cushion header away to clear his lines. Here's Dara O'Shea, a substitute. Back to Gavin Bazunu under pressure from Thuram, gets the ball away but straight down the throat of one of the French players. Umpicano plays it to Chiumani. Got a wonderful goal in the opening half. Chiumani added to by the substitute Thuram. His first goal for his country has them 2-0 up.
Yeah, he's played well over Meccano, John, right side of centre half, almost first pick now, the heart of that French defence. Conversation nowadays is who plays alongside him. Generally Kanate, he's not available. Lucas Hernandez this evening, and now Saliba gets his chance. The Bayern Munich defender, pretty much first pick now, the heart of that French defence, and he's played well tonight. No mistakes from John that I can remember during the course of the game. He's been aggressive, got tight to Adamida, nicked the ball off the front of him, physically imposed himself, and doesn't overcomplicate the game. The French centre half keeps it simple in possession. Really good player.
One half of the ground is trying to do the Mexican wave, the other half is just applauding. First bad touch I've seen in the game from Antoine Griezmann. Tried to play it at that far side to Jules Koundé and just overhit the ball, but it's his first real bad pass.
Yeah, he's a key player for the French, Jonathan. Obvious thing to say, but he's almost irreplaceable in there. You look at the French bench, Camavinga I'm a huge fan of. He could easily come into the team ahead of Rabiot or Tchouameni. Coleman on the pitch now instead of Dembele, but he's the one player even ahead of Mbappe for me. If he's not fit, it's very difficult to replace in that French team. That kind of creativity that he gives them, that quality in possession in the opposition half the pitch is almost irreplaceable when he's not there.
Dar O'Shea beaten to it. It's gone out off O'Shea last, much to his chagrin. The Swiss referee has given the throw to the French. Ireland don't look like scoring here. We've got 9 minutes to go. Just say it only takes a second to score a goal, but I tell you, if Ireland got something out of this game, it would be absolutely incredible. France on the way to winning 5 out of 5 and pulling away at the top of this group, Group B, and safely into the Euros next year without really raising a canter. Ireland going to make another substitution now here as well. Is Festi coming on, is he? Festi. Yeah, Festi. Ebusele of Udinese. He's coming on for his debut, the 21-year-old. You might as well give him a bit of game time now. There's important matches to come. If Ireland don't get something out of the Dutch game, and I'm talking about a win, and kiss this goodbye.
Yeah, I think you're right, John. It's a pretty obvious thing to say. It's a must-win game now against the Dutch. That's clear.
Ball over the top by Collins is a decent one. Brings in McLean on that far side. Tries to back the French into the penalty area. McLean, well, we did all right to keep it in play. I thought it was going to go out for a corner. Plays it back in. Here's Brown. And now Cullen. Cullen back to Brown again. They're in the French half of the field. Into Collins. Come pressing forward a bit. He plays it up to Connolly. Not the greatest of touches from Connolly. Goes to ground. Eventually lose possession. And it's taken away nicely off his toes by Tchouameni. It wasn't great from Connolly there, but the ball was hit pretty hard at him, and he's gone to ground as well, and the referee's going to stop the play for an injury to the Galway man.
Yeah, of course, to the centre forward there. Hopefully he's okay. There's some good one-touch football there from Ireland. Josh Cullen popping around the corner. You're right, John, there's a little bit of pace, and I still thought it was a good ball, though. Just that first touch has got to be spot on at this level. Just kind of got away from Aaron Connolly. That allowed Rabiot on the cover just to drop back in and take it off him.
There was one challenge from Rabiot where he stood on his foot, and then a second challenge came in where again he stood on Connolly's foot and he's gone to ground just after Keane went off, so hopefully he's okay. Centre picture we have here, the Irish manager, who looks a bit concerned, but I think Connolly will be okay to continue. He's got a big plaster around his hand, and is he coming off? I don't know, but
I think he's alright, John.
I think he's alright, but Festi's still waiting to come on. He's walking off with the two Irish physios towards the halfway line, and the Irish substitute will be made now, and Chidozie Ogbeni's coming off. And welcome to the party, Festi Obasele.
Yeah, Ogbeni getting a good healthy round of applause from the Irish supporters, and rightly so. Possibly Ireland's best player on the night, John, I would suggest. Had a fine game. Him and Alan Brown down that right hand side of the pitch, particularly first half, dealing with the threat of Mbappe and also getting forward, posing a threat on occasion. Had that one great chance, didn't he? Second half, wouldn't be too critical of him, like we were saying. Not an easy header, done all he could do, but he's had a fine game. Interesting to see Ebosele. Had a lot of talk about him, John. What I've seen of him, I like him. Dynamic player, very quick, aggressive. He's got a chance now, if only for a few minutes late on, high up the pitch alongside Aaron Connolly by the looks of it.
He's a big unit, alright, isn't he? He's a big lad.
Strong boy, yeah.
Connolly's back on the pitch, as he's mentioned. None of the worse for the wear for that little knock. Here's Rabiot in the centre of the park. They're coming up at 85 minutes. France lead by 2-0, but they've had this game wrapped up from a long way out. There's Koundé. Griezmann. Watching them as one-touch football is just absolutely wonderful. He's got all the control in the world, and he really is a lovely footballer to watch. again, it's like one-touch football, and it's swivelling and turning. Plays it out to Koundé on that far side into Mbappe, who hasn't had the best of games. The French captain, Griezmann, is probably saying to himself and also to Didier Deschamps, you should give me the job as captain and not give it to Mbappe. He's vice captain, but he's showing all the role as a captain, really. Griezmann out there, he's had a terrific game, my man of the match anyway.
Yeah, Coleman as well is looking sharp, John, isn't he? He's an absolute flying machine.
Here's Thuram on the edge of the penalty area, nicks it away from Collins. Griezmann again retaining possession out to the far side. Here's Coleman, the substitute. Chance for France to knock it into the penalty area. Mbappe rolls it to Griezmann. Play a bit of one-touch football between the two of them. Here's Mbappe on the edge of the penalty area, perhaps trying to tee up the perfect goal. Theo Hernandez on the left-hand side into Rabiot. Rabiot had a shot in anger in the first half, which was down the throats of the goalkeeper. They're claiming offside here, Ireland, against Mbappe. Looking at the far side, flag hasn't gone up. Ball's on the edge of the penalty area, and Ireland now a chance perhaps to break. There's not many up. Is Festi. Ebusele on the halfway line. Needs a bit of support here. He's got to run down and be taken down by Griezmann, and Griezmann's going to get a yellow card here. Takes one for the team.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say, John. First opportunity for the young Irishman. Open his legs up. He knew there was space down the sides. A couple of Frenchmen around him, but he backed himself, backed his pace. Griezmann knew he couldn't live with him. Slid into the tackle and took him down. Good chance for France to their end, John. Hernandez again on the...
Just pulled it away from Cullen. Set himself up for a shot on goal, but it was just too high from the great one.
Yeah, first decent bit of skill really. Mbappe just dropping the shoulder. I think it was kind of Josh Cullen at midfield, teeing her up on his left foot, but again just not good enough. Only kind of 20-25 yards out there. Really feel as if he should be hitting the target. 5-6 yards over the crossbar again from the French captain.
Pavard scores that wonderful goal in the World Cup, didn't he, back in 2018. He's a fullback and he's come on a direct replacement for Jules Koundé. Pavard, and off comes to a tremendous applause Antoine Griezmann, the man from Atletico Madrid, 79 consecutive internationals. My player of the match, but my opinion doesn't count. And Camavinga's on as well, and just trying to see who went off. Tell you now in a second. The player's gone off. But Ireland tackling ferociously down that far side between Connolly and McLean to commit the foul. We're in the last minute. France and 2 to the good. Who would be your player of the match if we had to pick one?
You want me to pat you on the back here, John? I'm guessing. Let's say Antoine Griezmann.
He's been good though.
He has been good. Yeah, look, I don't think he's been head and shoulders above everybody on the pitch. I think he's influenced the game in patches. He's drifted in and out of the game, kind of played at his own pace, but he has affected the game. And like I said, he has that kind of creative edge to his game that I think when he's not available, the French sorely miss. So, I think for some period of time now, John, it's not just recently, he's been an absolute key player for the French, and he's the one player really, I think, if you ask Didier Deschamps from a creative point of view, he doesn't want to be without. I think Mbappe, to be honest with you, he could suffer, John, being out of the team.
Amazing, isn't it?
Having the likes of Dembele and Coleman to call upon on the flanks. But Griezmann and that forward attacking area in midfield just is irreplaceable.
Brilliant run by Rabiot, and great retention, plays it into Hernandez, in turn plays it to Mbappe. Koundé's in the penalty area, Coleman's in the penalty area, plays it back to Mbappe, just turns around, faces the right way now and flips it out that far side. France are looking for more goals in this game. It's played back inside to Camavinga, who doesn't pick it up though, and it's gone back towards Connolly's direction, but he can't get his foot in the ball. And the goal scorer Tchouameni, the first goal scorer Tchouameni, sets it up for Pavard on that right hand side. Back inside it comes to Tchouameni, and the ball lifted into the penalty area. Pavard had wandered into the penalty area but is headed away. 6 minutes of added time, by the way. We're into the first of that now. In fact, the first minute has elapsed and Ireland get a free on the edge of the penalty area.
Yeah, I'd have to salute the French, John, in some respects. 2-0 up, they could have killed this game, they could have burst a balloon, just sat on their lead, and it would have been a pretty poor spectacle, but they haven't. They've tried to keep on the front foot. They've gone hunting for that third and fourth goal, and just down to some really good Irish defending and a culmination of poor finishing as well. Mbappe in particular, that's the reason why they haven't got that third goal. But overall, yeah, it's been a strong French performance from start to finish, showing their quality when they needed to, and moments short in the game.
I think it'd be an easier press conference tonight for Stephen Kenny. Do you think? Some of the recent ones haven't been great. He's had to defend the Irish team. Today he can say we played well.
Yeah, I think so. He could walk into that press conference with his head held high. I think you had to give him credit in terms of the starting 11. Question marks maybe about Alan Brown, our right wing back. Thought he played very well. Him and Ogbene down that side of the pitch worked very well together. And yeah, I couldn't be overly critical of the Irish performance. You can always nitpick, John. The devil's in the detail. You can always pick apart the goals conceded, etc. Only created that one clear-cut chance, but we always knew that was going to be the case. Best you can hope for in an environment like this is maybe to create 2 or 3 clear-cut chances during the course of the 90 minutes. So, look, wholehearted display from Ireland. Play some good football, ball retention at times. But yeah, overall, not too many complaints. The better team have won the game. You'd have to say that.
Stephen Kenny can say, I don't have a lot of luck with injuries, do I? So that's also another consideration when you've got a squad that's not as strong as, say, perhaps the French or the Dutch as well. So a little unlucky, but haven't played well against the smaller teams, but usually raise their game against the bigger sides. Here's Mbappe, and it's deflected off an Irish boot out towards Theo Hernandez on the left hand side. Last rights of this game, 3 minutes to go of the 6 added. This is Game On 2FM, bringing you live coverage of this game from Parc des Princes, home of PSG, where France lead Ireland by 2-0. Hernandez pats one, the head of Thuram, and how did he miss that? He put it downwards and up and over the crossbar when it should have been in the net.
Yeah, what a huge miss. Absolutely huge miss. Wonderful cross from Hernandez down this left hand side. Just guides it in with the inside of that left foot. Just feels it into that back post area. Level with the back post. Just inside the 6-yard box. Has too much space. We know that. Should be an Irish defender closer. Just has to score. It's as simple as that, John, isn't it? Easier, harder to miss in that situation than score.
Yeah, there was 2 Irish defenders who came towards the ball, and they were underneath the ball as well, over the top.
Just misjudged the flight, John. Just a bit of tiredness creeping in. Understandable.
Mbappe picks the ball up from Rabiot. Here's Mbappe. Now he's going for the top corner before the old man of the team, Duffy, got his head in the way and away for a corner. That's more like the Mbappe we know.
Thought he was going to play his get out of jail card there, John. When he came inside, his eyes lit up. He was looking for that back post, wasn't he? Personally, I think Mizuna's going to make the save anyway, but Shane Duffy didn't know that, put himself in the right position.
Yeah, Duffy's alright actually. First game of the
back three have been solid, John. Yeah, the whole back three have been solid. Some good performances all over the pitch.
There are some positives you can take out of this game. McLean comes back and heads that corner clear. Theo Hernandez, Rabiot from Picano joining the attack, tries to get the ball back from Duffy, or not from Duffy, I must say from Mbappe. Duffy was in his way, but he took a foot out and it deflected into the goalkeeper's hands. Last couple of minutes then.
3 goals would be cruel, John. Would feel cruel.
They probably don't deserve it. Here's Feste. Look at that run he has. He's got some good, powerful running. He's a big unit. Works his way inside. Tries to beat one too many. Chiumani came back and knocked it away from him, and Ubaselli sportingly lifts him to his feet. Team put their foot in the ball and just play a little bit of keep ball, wind down the clock. 5 times to go in Parc des Princes. Rugby World Cup is coming up. Not your game, is it?
I'm a convert.
You're a convert,
John.
are you?
Yeah. I've seen the light.
I've
seen the light.
That's because Ireland are number 1 in the rankings.
That's harsh, John. No.
Sing when you're winning. Anyway, we started in the best look in the Rugby World Cup. Here's Mbappe coming forward. Here's Thuram lining up the shot. Steps one way, then the other, then fires Plaston in the shot, but Egan did well to defend it and knock it out of play. Yeah, Ireland against Romania is live on RT television and radio over the weekend. Radio at least. Michael Corcoran bringing the commentary on that match on Saturday across on RT Radio 1. We'll be in situ for the game on Sunday, Ireland against the Netherlands, here on RTE2 FM. Adrian Eames steps in to the commentary box alongside you, and a shot over the top from Coleman. Nearly made it 3-0.
Yeah, some customer this Coleman. John again shifted onto his left, right foot, got that fierce acceleration over 5 yards, nearly found the top corner there. I think that'll be the last.
Yeah, there's the full-time whistle. What's your appraisal?
Look, I'm disappointed for the players because it was a huge effort from every single one of those players on the pitch. Gave absolutely everything. Thought the structure worked, held up pretty well over the course of the 90 minutes, John. Just a moment of real quality from Tushmani, that opening goal. But I have to say, the Irish players dug in. Looked as if in that first half the game might get away from us, but we hung on in there and actually finished the first half quite strongly. The killer blow obviously was that goal early in the second half from Marcus Thuram. But again, I'd have to say, heads didn't drop. We kept at it, almost found our way back into the game with that chance from Ogbene, and we kept going. Some sterling performances all over the pitch. Ogbene, Jason Knight absolutely ran himself into the ground. Alan Brown, the back three, I thought were absolutely rock solid for the whole of the evening. Just not quite good enough though, and we have to accept we probably got we deserved. The 2-0 scoreline is probably a fair reflection, John, you'd have to say, of the game this evening, and it's all to play for now. It's all, you know, all in for the game against Holland at Aviva Sunday evening. We know that.
Well, hopefully we can get something out of that. The draw's no good, have to win it. You'll be on commentary with Adrian this coming Sunday. Just to let you know, by the way, 3-0 the result in the other match. Netherlands beat Greece. They're into second place now in the group on goal difference. And another significant result, Slovenia have beaten Northern Ireland by 4 goals to 2. They're running that the Euros is done and dusted now, just 3 points in 5 games in a group that includes Finland and Denmark, who are 1 and 2 in the group. Slovenia have joined Denmark now, equal on points. But Shane, that's it for the moment. Goals in either half has decided this game. Shumani's excellent goal on 19 minutes, added to by Thuram in the second half, and it's finished here in Parc de France on a sweltering night in Paris. France 2, Republic of Ireland 0.
Kenny Cunningham, John Kenny, thank you both very, very much for commentary from the Parc des Princes. So 2-0 it ends. Ireland in 4th place in Group B now, as France remain top, 5 wins from 5. Pat Fenlon and Keith Tracy are still in studio and will be reflecting on Ireland's performance and hopefully get some reaction from the Ireland camp.
Game on.
Football.
Griezmann opens it up, plays it out this near side. The ball's in the air to Mbappe. It should be 2-0, and it is. Thuram puts it to the back of the net. Eventually they get the second goal, and it's a substitute come on for Giroud in the first half has made it 2-0. Ireland 6th and 7th for 48 minutes, concede the second 2-0.
So it finishes France 2, Ireland 0 in the Parc des Princes. Debt, taxes, Ireland scoring or conceding from long range. And indeed, at the start of the second half, 6 of the last 11 goals Ireland have conceded have come in the first 5 minutes after half time. Is that a worrying trend, Pat, to put it lightly? I mean, is that something now that we should be taking seriously in terms of, is it a mental thing? Are they switching off? Or is it they're just coming up against opposition that are far superior?
Well, the opposition being far superior, there's no doubt about that. If it's happening that many times, then it is a concern, obviously. You stay in the game as much as we did in the first half and work so hard, and the last thing, again, you go up before you go out and say, you know, make sure we don't concede early. We didn't do that in the first half, but unfortunately we did in the second half, and it just became one-way traffic after that. I thought France upped the level of performance that I thought they had in them in that second half. They moved the ball brilliantly. Their front three front four should I say, causes all sorts of problems. Griezmann was different class in that second half. Then Dembele was as good as he was in the first half, even though they took him off. But it was men and boys. It was just night and day. The quality they have compared to what we have is just there's no comparison, and sometimes you just have to take your medicine. And to be honest, I think we got away 2-0. I think I said at the start I thought it'd be 2-0, but that was more than hope.
Yeah.
And we could have ended up maybe in the end of a 3 or 4-0 with the chances they had. We'd one real chance like Beignet. I think he's poor on the chance actually at Beignet. I don't think it's a brilliant save. I think it's a poor header, and I think it might have been blown up anyway for a foul before that. But like I said, you just got to take your medicine tonight. They're exceptional side.
Lucky to come away with only a 2-0 defeat, Keith?
Yeah, maybe lucky. I think the real one that stands out is the Dembele one when he stands up. James McLean, he just chops it onto his right foot. He just hits the post. He just puts his laces through it. And I think Bazuna, when the goal is beaten, it hits the post and cracks off. And there's one that he gets put into Giroud's feet in the first half, and I think he's a little bit injured. Otherwise, he maybe could have got his foot on that. Mbappe let one roll across the 6-yard box that he should have had contact with. But look, again, I think you know, I was coming here. I said I thought we would beat 3-0, but I was sort of fearing something a little bit worse. I have to be honest. And again, I don't want to be praising when the Irish team when we get beaten, but this French team has been to the last 2 World Cup finals. They won the World Cup before last. They got beat on penalties by Argentina in the last World Cup. So these are one of the best 2-3 teams in the world. So look, it really is all relative. We competed for long amounts of the game, but the Tuchemani goal is brilliant. It's a super finish. And then you're thinking about checkpoints at half time. I'm sure Stephen Kenny has told the Irish team, we're still in the game. For as dominant as been, we're still in the game. Keep it tight, give them nothing, bring it down the stretch, and we'll make them nervous. And within 3 minutes of the second half, we're 2-0 down. And it just goes to show the quality. I agree with Pat with the Ogbeni header. I think it more or less hits Ogbeni on the head rather than Ogbeni, throwing his foot at it, and that allows Magnon to make the save in the French goal, because there's not an awful lot of pace. Even saying that, I think that would have been taken, that would have been chalked off had it hit the back of the net. So yeah, look, you're looking at the group now. We've got the Dutch next, the Dutch at home, then we've Greece at home. So 2 home games are next 2 international fixtures. I think we're in a straight shootout for third here. I said at the start of the qualifiers, if we were to finish third in this group, we'd be right on track to where we should be. And I think we're just going to try and isolate Greece and catch them.
David Kelly from the Independent mentioned on Twitter, watching smooth Holland, who have not conceded, produced a goal for Weghorst, stumped Greece with a system change, just like Greece hoodwinked Ireland, and have been able to prematurely withdraw key players like De Jong and Gapco. So.
Yeah, I think the concern for Sunday is that such a quick turnaround, and we've had to work so hard tonight. We've chased the ball for basically 90 odd minutes, and again, Kenny was right in the commentary, you can't fault the lads for that. They work ever so hard, they kept their shape as much as they could. It's just the quality, but that is a concern. Have we got loads to change that team? Because it's going to need some fresh legs. You can't go into the Dutch game with the same 11. I don't think you can. I don't know whether there was an injury to Enda Stevens when he came off at half time. He got a hard time in that first half. I know Doherty comes back, doesn't he, from suspension, so that'll be a help. You'd imagine he'll fill in either right wing back or left wing back.
Omobama Daly might be available. Tony O'Donoghue was on.
Yeah, Darragh O'Shea may come in. So like there's Will Smallbone, does he come back into the equation? But look at the rest of the bench that we had tonight. There's not loads. Again, that left wing back position. Does he give Ryan Manning a go, or? So that's a concern for me going into the Dutch game. I think they're a quality team as well. I think it's going to be difficult either way, but after the work rate and the performance that we've had tonight and had to work so hard to stay in the game, that would be a concern going into Sunday's game. It's a very quick turnaround.
Yeah, there's a couple of people I'd be really worried about. Ogbene gave an awful lot out there. He's run himself into a brick wall. He's had a couple of minutes here and there for Luton, but in terms of actually getting a couple of minutes under his belt in the Premier League, it hasn't really happened. So he hasn't played an awful lot of football. Matt Doherty's played in the FA Cup, I think it was, for Wolves. Shane Duffy's a big boy. He's been tore all over the place there today. How well is he going to recover? Cullen Malumbi running all over the place. Alan Brown doing a stint at right back, and then he's into the midfield to chase shadows in there. So there's an awful lot of tired bodies, and we don't have the bench that you can say, well, we just take him out and put him in. Omobamidele coming back, he might go in there, but
hasn't played a lot of football neither.
You can throw it a lot of them though, Pat, can't you?
Yeah, absolutely. He hasn't played a lot of football at club level neither. So you don't know where he is. I think if O'Shea is fit, which obviously he is, he comes back into the reckoning for me. But there's not loads of changes we can make. Holland obviously grown in confidence as well. We know they've got real quality players. They're missing one or two that may be a help to us, but again, that confidence tonight from there, hammering a Greece at home, after their performance against Greece, doesn't argue well. But again, we're going into another game at the Aviva where we want to see I think we'll get a performance, because I think we've performed okay against the bigger nations. It's the other ones where we've had to go and win matches that we have. And listen, the disappointing tonight is probably on the back of the Greece game, because we're coming out of Greece with nothing, and that's the one we looked at and thought, if we can get 4 out of 6 or 6 out of 6 against Greece, that should tie up third place for us and give us a little chance maybe having a go at the Dutch. But losing there has killed us completely. And you look at the group already, we've been saying this, every group we're in, we're out of it very early, and I'm afraid we're in the same position again. I think.
Well, I think we knew coming into this group, I definitely did. When we looked at the group, we thought we have to take 6 points off Gibraltar home and away, and we have to take 6 points off of Greece home and away. We failed to beat the Greece. We've obviously beat Gibraltar, but we need to pick up the slack against the Dutch. We've a double header against the Dutch. Can we get 6 points out of that? very, very doubtful. But I'm sure Stephen Kenny will be trying to rally the troops. And again, you know, we always say about this Irish team. I would regard that as somewhat of a performance. I don't like I don't like to praise the lads when we lose, but you know, I don't think Stephen Kenny be pointing fingers in the dressing room and digging anybody out. It was a decent enough team performance. It's just the quality of the French. But again, it's the Gibraltars, it's the Greases of this world that I worry about. You know, we generally do get a half decent performance, and again, tonight that goes into that bracket. But it's just the quality of the opposition that we're really struggling with.
Broader picture then. So, I suppose, does Stephen Kenny need to beat Holland on Sunday for him to remain as Ireland manager for the next international window?
I think he probably needs to get something out of the game. I think, you know, we go into that game. I go back to the Greece game away is the one that's really done the damage to us. In this, we go there and pick up something. I think he gets a little bit of leeway. I think there's a bit of pressure on him. I'd agree with Keith and that the performance tonight. You can't be critical of the players tonight. We just played a really, really good team. We worked ever so hard. We kept our shape. There'll be pressure. We all know that's the name of the gig. Stephen will come under pressure after this result. Even though we're playing France, that's just football. Can we go and get a performance against the Dutch and get something out of the game? That will definitely relieve some pressure, no doubt about that. If we go and we get beaten or get beaten well then obviously that pressure comes on. But he knows that as well. As a football manager, you know that's where it is. Our record is not good enough in competitive games. We haven't won enough matches. It's as simple as that. You know, and you can dress it up any way you want. You can talk about performance or keeping the ball or playing a certain way or introducing out to young players. This is international football. Our record in competitive football at this level is really, really poor under the manager. So he's going to come under pressure for that. People look and say, are we developing, are we building? I'm not too sure. I don't see an improvement in the team. That's what I don't see. Other people that have the argument say we're playing more football than we did under previous managers, but the results haven't been there. And it's about results at this level of football. It's about winning football matches. It's not about development for me. It's about how we perform. And we can't beat the teams that are around us, particularly at home, and that's a major concern for us.
Would you share those sentiments, Keith?
Yeah, look, I think a lot has been made about our style of play from Mick McCarthy to Stephen Kenny, and it's a lot more attractive. You know, at the end of the day, I don't mind losing to France. I don't mind losing to Holland because, you know, like I say, the wealth of talent that they have, it's okay. It's the other teams that we haven't turned up against. That, like, losing to France tonight, if we do lose to Holland on Sunday, that won't lose Stephen Kenny his job. It'd be losing to Greece away last time. Will lose his job if he does lose his job. And even Gibraltar, it took, I think it was 55 minutes for us to break us down, and that was a free kick at the edge of the box. That was a really favourable deflection. It bounces into Mikey Johnson's path and he puts it into the back of the net, and we looked largely toothless for about 55 minutes of that game, which again is the worrying thing when we play lower teams. So to be going toe to toe with these lower nations in a footballing manner and we're not able to break them down, it just doesn't bode well when we put in a fighting performance and we put our bodies on the line. And you see, maybe we can get something out of these lower teams, but we just don't seem to turn up against the lower nations, and that's what will put the nail in Stephen Kenny's coffin.
Okay, well, it will be interesting to see. Hopefully we get a good performance on Sunday and a positive result. Pat Fenlon, Keith Tracy, thank you both very, very much for your company this evening on our special extended Game On. Just before we do go, some good news for an Irishman in international management. Ghana have booked their spot next year's African Cup of Nations after a 2-1 victory over the Central African Republic. So good news for Chris Houghton. Sinead, that is all we have time for on Game On. Dan Hegarty is up next with The Alternative, so do stay tuned to 2FM. I'll be back at 6 o'clock tomorrow. So from all of the Game On team, it is bye for now.